It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. Albert Einstein. Gigabits, teraflops and megapixels thereupon. This is modern escapism. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Oodles, and if I was a piece of technology, I'd definitely be an Android tablet. Fine for a few weeks, and eventually I'd become sluggish, broken and fucking annoying. And joining me today, we have Candy. Like the Vine video platform, she's better off burning out brightly than fading away.
Hello.
Also, we have Stig. Some people call him the 3D Cinema Man. He's fun for an hour, but eventually you're going to get a headache.
An hour? Like, it won't last that long.
The man that is literally named after technological gizmos and devices, such as a Zune MP3 player, it's Gadget.
I had a Zune, they were really good.
They were, weren't they? I liked them. And finally, in some circles, he's known as the Human Touch ID. He's so fucking grabby. It's Biggie.
As soon as I was last, I was like, here it comes.
Welcome back, sir. Welcome back. I hope you're all right.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was very poorly, so thanks.
Just point out, this is the first time in weeks that we've had all five of us on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice, isn't it?
Properly, because the podcaster one was a bit hodgepodge as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. So, without further ado, let's just sell some shit.
Oh, yeah, shit, I was
You're supposed to be the corporate man.
I was finding something for talk about later. I was finding, I didn't have it loaded up. Yeah, that's me, isn't it? Okay, hang on. Yeah, so if you would like more of that excellent podcast in there that I just did, you can go to patreon.com/modernescapism. On there, you'll find the 3 different tiers that we do. We do Modern Escapees for £5 a month. And for that, you'll get an extended edition of this episode every week, as well as any monthly special we do and any other specials we are currently doing. We are currently on with our Hawkeye spoiler special. First episode came out last week, free for everyone, but all future ones will be on Patreon. And Biggie and Gadget will be back with Fast and the Furious at some point. They just need a bit of a break after those first 5.
A handbrake.
Yeah.
Oh, God almighty. Get out.
Yeah. It'll come probably after Hawkeye at this rate because, I think it...
They're allowed a mid-season break.
It took it out of them a bit.
I fucking need it after that shite.
Second up, we have Do Dragons Dream of Scorched Sheep, our D&D player podcast. So for £5 a month, the Scorched Sheep section will get you ad-free early access of the episodes, as well as any access to artwork, original music, battle maps, character sheets, and anything we put together for the show. And you'll also be able to suggest NPCs and item names for Gadget to use. And £7.50, the Biggie Bundle, and that gets you everything.
Make sure you tune into Scorched Sheep as well, because we're wrapping up his first season, and it's going to be epic, isn't it, Gadget?
Oh, it's going to be huge.
Big.
Like something in that last episode.
Yeah.
Well, you mean the episode that will drop tomorrow from on patrons?
Yes.
Time.
Time, flat circle, makes no sense. Don't worry, I've got some time travel shenanigans lined up for the campaign going ahead, just to make it even more confusing.
Excited. It's going to be good, because then when season 2 rolls up, we'll actually be professional Dungeons and Dragoneers, or whatever you call themselves.
Nerds, professional nerds.
Professional nerds.
Already there, I think.
So it's exciting, even if you're not
Greasy
into it, get
weirdos.
into it yourselves. But yeah, let's just start as we mean to go on. I want to know what everyone's been up to this week, and I don't want to bury the lead. I want to know what Biggie's been up to, because it's been a while.
Oh, okay. Yes, so, I missed the last one. Great pod, by the way. Really enjoyed listening to it.
Thank you.
And also the impression of me. I was after...
What'll happen? It has to happen.
I know. After people will eventually just won't want to be off sick because the impressions will just be getting worse and worse. After the Last of Us, I needed a palate cleanser, so I was dabbling in a bit of Disco Elysium.
Good man.
And Borderlands 1, inspired by our gaming soundtracks pod. I went back and had a dabble in that just to have a bit of fun. Yeah, it still plays well. Obviously, Disco Elysium we talked a lot about. I haven't finished it, so obviously I'm still playing through that, but liking what I've played so far. Borderlands 1 has some upgraded version. Looks okay. You know, it's still cel-shaded, still plays well enough.
It's the only one I've beat.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed going back into that little world and the music and the fun of the gunplay, and that was good fun. I happened to win a copy of Battlefield 2042 off Twitter.
Yeah, boy, you did it.
A random competition that I really nearly didn't even go for with the game collection. So thank you very much to them for sending that through.
So, are you enjoying Battlefield 20 to 42 frames a second?
I admittedly have only played it for probably an hour or two, just because of time.
And it crashed.
No, do you know what? It was fine. It looks great on some levels, still looks a bit janky on others. It clearly needs some work. They've obviously had a patch.
It costs you nothing, that's the main thing.
Yeah, and you know what? I did feel... I wasn't impressed by the beta, so playing... the actual game itself, it did feel a bit more polished compared to the beta.
Do you know what?
It certainly had a feel of Battlefield at one point. But yeah,
at one point.
It's because there's a lot of changes, a lot to get your head around how it all works. So I can't give like a full verdict at this point. And they are going to patch it. They've already had one patch. There's more to come.
It's a live game. It's gonna.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a bone to pick with you, Biggie, about Battlefield from Punk's episode.
Uh-oh.
Not for Battlefield 42. I've literally played nothing of it, so I have no opinion on that. I'm just a bit disappointed that it's not getting great reviews. You went from saying, I didn't really like the new Battlefields 1 or 5 because they went a bit COD-like, but then I discovered COD Warzone, and I really like that. And I'm thinking, hang on, you don't like a game because it's like COD, and then the next minute you're praising a COD game.
Because no, you're right. There's a reason for saying
also,
that.
Battlefield 1 is incredible. So
I wasn't used to the change that they brought into when they obviously saw how well COD had been selling, and they were trying to sort of mimic that. And then having played COD Warzone, I can see what they were trying to do. But COD Warzone, COD have been doing it for a long time, obviously, and although I haven't played many versions of it, I can see what they were trying to do with Battlefield. We went back and played them, and just couldn't get into them. So that was why I was saying that. Whereas I enjoyed COD Warzone for what it was, but didn't like Black Ops. I thought Black Ops absolutely sucked ass.
And for people not in the know, that's a reference to What the Fuck Do You Want podcast by our good friend Deadbeat Punk. If you've never listened to that podcast, don't listen to it if your granny's there.
I thought you just said don't.
No, listen to it.
It's a good podcast. I'm on it in a couple of weeks. So
listen to it with your headphones in.
Completely different subject to Biggie, so no gaming discuss this time round.
Anything else then, Biggie? What else have you been doing?
I watched Kingdom. Watching Kingdom. I haven't finished it yet, but really enjoying that on Netflix. It's South Korean political period horror thriller. Really, it's a bit of everything.
I like it.
It was Netflix's first original Korean series. Really enjoying it. It's apparently based on a manga series called The Kingdom of the Gods. Which I haven't read or know of. But yeah, it's set in a fictional medieval-inspired place called Joseon. Explores the story of a crown prince as he sets to investigate the source of mysterious plague that's ravaging the country. It's got a lot of political intrigue. No character seems to be safe as like Game of Thrones. You get to meet some characters and then they're off already. But yeah, it's really good. It's really well acted. Looks great. Costumes are fantastic. Cinematography is stunning at times. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, well done, South Korea again.
They are absolutely crushing
delivering
it.
the goods.
I think it's better than Squid Game. A lot better. It's different genre completely.
It's different, yeah. I mean, I would say that.
But why Squid Game got that hit, that like a global hit when Kingdom was already there? It's odd, isn't it?
It is. You're right. I think.
It happened to me. Don't get me wrong. I went to Kingdom after Squid Game, so I fell for it. But it's odd, isn't it, that some things hit and some things don't straight away.
And I don't remember there being a big push for Kingdom either when it came out, because obviously the way that Netflix is set up now, they directly advertise their hits of the week.
Yeah.
As soon as you kind of log on, so you got it more in your face now. And Squid Game was obviously the number one at the time that when that came out. That was pretty much picked up by everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I need to speak with John actually, because he just he bombards us with all this great stuff to catch, but I've no idea where they're all being.
Yes, John, that's a reference to John, our Asian correspondent.
But yeah, it's there's a lot to watch, and I just need to find out where they're being shown. But yeah, really good. But yeah, That's it for me.
That's enough, mate. But as long as you're feeling better and you're fighting fit, that's all I care about. Looking good anyway, mate.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to Candy.
Yeah, so I've had a reasonably busy week. Actually, after we discussed Community last week, I started watching that, and I've watched the first season. I'm really enjoying it so far.
It's great, isn't
I love the characters are they're awful, aren't they? In particular, the Spanish teacher.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Senor Chang.
I absolutely love it. He's not that far removed from an actual Spanish teacher as well. I'm pretty sure I used to have teachers like that. I just got to the episode with Jack Black in it too, so that was a nice little surprise. So I think that's it might be the first episode of the second season.
Yeah.
Who else was in it? There was another cameo, so I can't remember who it was now, but it just came out the blue.
You're now going to be forever just wandering around in the back of your head, hearing that little melody, Troy and Abed in the morning.
Absolutely. But the main thing I did this week is that I went to go and see Canto. So if you don't know, that's the new film from Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Sorry.
I went to see it. I was in a kind of a grouchy mood. I wasn't really up for being made to feel upset like Pixar films tend to make me do.
Good choice.
They force sadness upon you, I find. It started with a really pretty 2D short before it called Far From the Tree. And that one was a bit of a tearjerker, so that kind of just served to infuriate me further. This one's going to make me sad. I don't want to watch it.
Were you screaming at the screen, stop making me emotional?
I've just been corrected. It's not Pixar.
Oh, right. Is it just a Disney one?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just being pedantic.
Splitting hairs, but close enough. Thank you for correcting me, because there'll be somebody out there that's upset about it.
Disney is pretty much, they all look like Pixar's now.
I bet if you look in those credits somewhere, there's some mention of Pixar in that.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on. I've got something to say about this as well afterwards.
Yeah, well, anyway, I'm pleased to report that it actually wasn't too sad. It had a couple of sentimental moments in it, but it didn't really go for the jugular like Coco did. So if you don't know, it's Encanto set around a magical house. It's occupied by the Madrigal family. And when the children of this family come of age, the house grants them unique special powers. It also gives them a bedroom each that kind of transports them to their own magical land. And Mirabelle, who's the main character, is the first child in the family who doesn't get any magical powers at all.
Oh, no.
So it's quite cute. I mean, the story itself is nothing really groundbreaking, and it kind of reverts to... so in my notes, I've written tried and tested Pixar formulas. So I'm going to say tried and tested Disney formulas. But there's absolutely... There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's quite a nice story for kids to be able to relate to as well. Like, often if they feel like they're the only one who doesn't have anything special when they're surrounded by all sorts of talented people. The one thing that does really stand out, as always, are the visuals and the music. And every time they seem to outdo themselves with their animation. And Encanto's just no exception, really. I would say it's by far the prettiest animated Disney film I've seen to date. It's so rich and colourful, and the characters' expressions as well are so good. They capture expressions down to the ground, I think. And I
was just taken aback by the hair.
Yeah.
For ages, I just kept looking at the hair on the characters, and like the hair looked incredible.
It's so good, yeah, and just everything's so cute, and it really felt. If you've ever been to Epcot, it kind of transports you to that kind of same feeling, like you're surrounded by magic. Sounds a bit silly to say, but that's the kid in me coming out.
Well, I have hair envy all the time.
You've got hair; it's just on your chin.
And my bum.
One thing that was really, really good is this one seemed to have really good dance scenes as well, and the way the characters are rigged, they're just absolutely perfect. I can't imagine the amount of time it takes to create something like that. And the music as well was really catchy. Even just hearing the songs just once, it's kind of stuck in your head. And the music was written by Lin-Manuel, which I didn't realize when I was watching it. But when I saw his name,
Pedantic Stig just jumped up again. Then
he was like, "Who?" Yeah, friend of Stig, friend of the show.
He just got his name wrong. That's all.
Yeah, it made perfect sense once I realised it's a little bit there's a little bit of hip hop in there. It's just really good. But yeah, it's definitely worth a watch with the kids over the holidays. Like I said, story wise, not one of the best, but it's entertaining nonetheless.
I've not seen it like smash. I've not seen it like break grounds or anything. I've not seen many people talking about it. I know it exists. I know it's there, and I know my kids have been
2 days. To be fair,
they want to see it. Yeah, I know, but like even when like Coco was on the horizon, I knew about that months and months in advance because I was looking forward to it. Like a guitar,
I've not seen any advertising, to be honest.
Pixar film or Disney film, whichever one it is, because I fucking adored Coco. So like
that was Pixar.
I'm always up for Disney animation and Pixar. I'm always up for it, but this one, I thought it was a remake of Enchanted or something like that at first, like a Spanish remake or something, but it's clearly not.
No. I really enjoyed it. The kids really enjoyed it. Candy's hit on most of the stuff I enjoyed about it. The music is really good.
Good.
But you're going to get that with Lin-Manuel Miranda. Like, he did Moana, so it's very much that kind of style of music. I really liked the house being alive and being its own character. It felt like a bit like, carpet in Aladdin. It's just this inanimate object, but come to life, and it's silent and just has its own personality. That was really good. And something that I wanted to touch on about this as well was that it's all Latinx cast.
That's good. So
I listened to I'm going to get his name, John Leguizamo. I can't pronounce his name right.
Leguizamo,
that's it. So he was on the Empire podcast this week, and he was talking about the need for more Latinx representation in Hollywood, and this film kind of further reinforces that and reinforces his point on how many good stories and how fun their culture can be, and how we need more stories from that community. So that was I just really liked that after, especially listening to his interview and then seeing the film. But yeah, it's really good.
For people that don't know, he played Luigi Mario in the 90s smash hit Super Mario Brothers.
Do you know what he brought up in that interview? In that interview as well, he jokingly brought up that and Spawn and something else.
God, yeah.
He's just like, everyone just keeps remaking all the terrible films I've been in.
He was in Land of the Dead as well. Yeah, he's always been about. He's really good in Kick-Ass 2. Really good in that.
I can't remember much about that film.
Excellent. That's a good shout. We're going to move on to Stig later because I know he's got a bumper.
No, I've only got 2 things now.
Oh, that's fine. We'll jump into you then. Yeah, let's go for it.
Candy's nicked one, but that's fine.
Go for it. Go for it, sir.
So I have had a bumper week. I think I might talk about some of these in the Patreon section. So I've just to go over some things. We binged Midnight Mass.
Yes.
I binged all of the second part of Masters of the Universe that came out this week.
Nice.
We started Hellbound.
Good, innit?
Yeah, we were up to episode 3, and it's gone some places in 3 episodes already that I didn't expect
to finish
it.
It's fucked up.
It really is. And I did start the new South Park special, but I fell asleep. Nothing on the show.
I started it.
Really
I didn't
funny.
finish it either, but I don't know why.
I just started watching it like too late, so I need to finish watching that. And that was what I saw of it though was amazing. So
they always hit. I don't think South Park's ever slowed down. A lot of people say it has, but I don't think it has.
What they seem to have done with Cartman, I don't know what the payoff is yet because I haven't got that far, but
there will be one.
Yeah. But yeah, so the other 2 things that I did want to talk about was first quickly, I watched Celine Sciamma's new film, Petite Maman. As obviously everyone knows, I'm a big fan of her films, and this film is no exception. It is, again, another great film from her. It is a story of I've lost my notes. That's not helpful.
Sounds boring.
Line reading, please.
What's her name? Nellie. A young girl called Nellie. That's it. I couldn't remember what her name was. That was a problem. Nellie's grandma dies. Herself, her mum, and her dad travel to her grandma's house to basically clear it out. And while she's there, her mum finds it all a bit too much and leaves for the dad to finish it off. So Nellie goes off and exploring, because this is obviously her mother's house that she grew up in, and her mother's told her about all this tree house and this kind of wood fort that she made when she was younger. So she goes off exploring, looking for that, and she finds it, but she bumps into another young girl called Marion, who's playing around with the tree house. Now this little girl looks just like Nellie, and soon you discover that this little girl is actually her mother.
I'm in. I'm already in.
So there's some timey-wimey stuff going on with this.
Yeah.
And she basically gets to hang out with her mother, and her 8-year-old mother.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's just this lovely, really touching, soft, meditative story about these two young girls just playing with each other. And they know it. They know that she says, "I know, like, I think you're my mother." Like, this is all like in the trailer and like knowledge, but yeah, so it is 78 minutes long. It's not even an hour and a half long.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, and it's really, really good. So
I feel like I want to cry just at the synopsis. I've got all misty eyes.
I love it.
It's just,
as soon as you said that, I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm in."
just this. Imagine the thought of being able to go back and play with your parents, but they were a child. Like it'd be interesting. But yeah, it's really lovely. That's the best way I can describe it. It didn't let me down. She's just an excellent filmmaker. She just knows how to portray young people. I don't know how she does it so well, but she does. Like whether it's a teenager or an 8-year-old, or women in the young 20s or something like that. She's just so good at portraying them on film.
If it's anything as beautiful as Portrait of a Lady on Fire, mate, I'm in.
Yeah, it's not up there, but it's good. It's
Cool.
What did I say? Probably a second best film.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing that I want to talk about was The Wheel of Time.
The Wheel of Time, hot on the presses.
The Wheel of Time
there's been a lot of chatter about this online, but I want to know your thoughts.
It's not good.
Oh, it's not.
So you're agreeing with a lot of the chatter online.
So this is the adaptation that Amazon have made of Robert Jordan's epic 40-novel series, I think it is.
Imagine writing 40 novels.
14.
Oh, I thought you said 40. I'm going to say, fuck.
No.
The same saga.
He passed away before he even managed to finish it. That's how.
Oh, now I feel bad.
Yeah, how long it is.
Yeah, he's retired.
He's retired
for a while.
Retired from writing.
Yeah, he's not going to hit that 40 now, is he?
No.
But, I don't know what's happened. £10 million an episode this has cost them. And it doesn't look anything like it should do. It just doesn't have that same feel or pacing or anything. There's not enough lore to set you up to start with. It kind of throws you straight into something, leaving you confused. And they desperately wanted to get some action in there in the first episode, so the pacing is just all over the place. The first 2 episodes in particular, they're so rushed. You go from this place to that place, you suddenly meet these people. Oh, now there's a new group of people. Oh, look, there's a third group of people. Who are these? These people have gone over there. They're split up from here and they're over there. And you're like, where the fuck is everyone? Like, slow down. In 3 episodes, I gave it 3 episodes, the 3 that came out. And after that, I was like, nah, I'm tapping out, because there's nothing there to grip you, unfortunately.
That sounds like, Firefly, when that was originally televised and it was all out of order with the episodes. It sounds kind of like they've done that.
No, it's not out of order. It's just a mess.
No, but it sounds like it. It just sounds like a complete mess, because that's, if you'd watch Firefly with all the orders out of sync, all the episodes out of sync, you'd be left like, who are they? Why are they there? What's going on?
Yeah.
It's the same.
Considering how much they wanted to be like Amazon's version of Game of Thrones.
Or The Witcher.
It's ridiculous, the idea that they wouldn't start it off. Like, if you think back to the very first episode of Game of Thrones.
Everyone's calling people by their names.
Well, everyone's calling people. No, it fucking happens.
Yeah.
It's people turn up and have conversations,
Get
and then a kid gets kicked.
Yeah.
Then a kid gets kicked out of a window at the end.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing. There's no action in that first episode, other than the prologue scene. I think
I find it absolutely mad that Amazon have put all this money into this when they've got a Lord of the Rings show coming in the near future. This looks like the Lord of the Rings to me. Why are they confusing people? This is not making me feel good about Lord of the Rings happening.
Exactly. This is not making me feel good about Lord of the Rings. Because This looks like somewhere between a BBC production and HBO, somewhere in the middle.
Does Rosamund Pike not save it at all?
No.
She seems to be quite good.
I don't think she's very good in it at all, to be honest.
Oh.
I'll just jump in because I started watching it a couple of days ago and I've watched the first episode and I got about halfway through the second episode and I found all the acting pretty ropey.
Yeah.
That's worrying, that's proper worrying, Amazon.
Script and dialogue is shonky. The acting, some of the actors are terrible and it just doesn't work. I don't know what's gone on. You need
friend
this.
of the show, Helen O'Hara, interested in this as well, wasn't she?
She mentioned it, didn't she?
Yeah, she was. So a couple of them on the Empire podcast were, and I think they're a bit disappointed in how it's turned out.
It's just like I say with the Lord of the Rings looming in the future. This is proper fucking worrying.
It's just look at Game of Thrones. Like Gadget said, nothing much happens in that first episode. It doesn't even look all that great when you could obviously compare it to later seasons.
Yeah,
they were about
£5
million an episode. This is double that.
But the acting was spot on in the first season of Game of Thrones. It was lovely and Shakespearean. It was northern accent, southern accent. It was just nice, weren't it, to watch? And
it needs to look like a film. I think me and you discussed this, didn't we, Oodles? That if you're going to do this big epic fantasy stuff for TV, it needs to look like it's a film, like Game of Thrones does, like The Witcher does. It doesn't. It looks like a TV production.
You need to capitalise on having 12 hours to tell a story.
Yeah, when you compare to how good HBO, and how good a HBO show looks, that's what it needs to look like. It needs to have the production and the look of a Game of Thrones or a Westworld or something like that.
Look at Boardwalk Empire when that starts. Fucking hell, that is like watching a Scorsese film. Like, you know what I mean? It's just fucking beautiful. It just it's frustrating.
I never caught that. Was that any good?
So good.
Yeah, it was
so good. But yes, it's
amazing.
like Amazon, one of the richest companies in the world. Just fucking get your shit together. It's been Black Friday. You've had loads of money.
So, like, I enjoyed something like Shadow and Bone a lot more than this, and that's the look of. That's got a similar look to this because it's not. You can tell it's a lower budget Netflix fantasy series that doesn't have that film production look, but it's just much better and much more enjoyable and better acted.
But they've got the cinematography skills set. They've got the boys. Like I said, Carnival Row, that looked stunning. Everything about that looked stunning. The dresses and everything that people were wearing and stuff. And why are they? This is a massive get for them. This is huge. A 14-book series that have got fans champing at the bit for it. This is
It won't go that. I don't even think they'll get a second series, to be honest.
Pathetic.
And by all accounts, people have read the book, said that it just chops and changes and just skips through loads of stuff. That first episode, honestly, I was like, oh man, I don't know where I'm going to watch this. And I stuck the other two on. And granted, I was kind of working and had it on at the same time, but I could kind of, grasp what was happening at the same time.
You want it to stop you working, don't you? You want it to actually grab you while you're fuck, I'm putting this down, I'm watching this.
Yeah, wasn't good. I'm not going to carry on.
Well, rest in peace, Wheel of Time. We hardly knew ye. Gadget, what have you been up to?
So not much because I've been away this week on a works do and got to drive back home during Storm Arwen, which was terrifying.
Storm
Worst
Arwen.
thing I've ever done.
I've heard a lot about this, but I live in a terraced house, so we're barely affected by storms. It's easier.
A cool name, at least, for once.
Yeah. An elvish one.
Yeah. Oh, it was lovely driving up the A1 in 75-mile-an-hour winds.
That's fucking terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, but aside from that, so on a random whim, I rebought Castlevania Symphony of the Night on the PS5.
Because you're a smart guy.
So it was 15 quid, and it was just like, get on.
Get it. Good lad.
And just all those 90s memories just came flooding back to me.
That music.
The music, the look of it, the terrible voice acting. And then I also remembered, one, how far it is between every save point, and two, how fucking hard that game is.
Yes.
The muscle memory is there for the movements, but I haven't quite got it back in for the hitboxes. And some of those enemies can really fuck you over and
it's not pixel perfect hitboxes on that game.
Which to its detriment.
Yes.
And it just makes me think, Konami, you like money.
Yeah.
Why don't you just just take Symphony of the Night, maybe just spruce it up a little bit of 4K, little bit of fixing those hitboxes, maybe a bit faster, more metal.
Give it to Team Cherry.
Give it Team Cherry, or give it to them that just did Metroid, whatever they're called, Mercury Steam, anything like that. But yeah, just give me that game again in 4K. Anyway, but besides that, the main thing I want to talk about is, I'm sorry guys, I've got new influences for Scorched Sheep because I found another D&D podcast.
You need to grow up.
This one is called Dimension 20, and this is the one that College Humor run.
I've heard of them.
Yep. This is it's a D&D actual play podcast. It's also a little bit like Critical Role has done. It's you can watch video on YouTube of it, and you've got all the battle maps and them in the same room together. It's hosted by Brendan Lee Mulligan, who is kind of one of College Humor's kind of more long-term faces, who is an incredible dungeon master. He is so good at what he does. Rest of the cast, at least on the series I'm watching, is Emily Axford, Zach Oyama, Siobhan Thompson, Lou Wilson, Ali Beardsley, and Brian Murphy, who, again, they're just all personalities from College Humor skits. And yeah, they are playing a game of D&D. And the best part is, the way they described this one, I'm not going to give you the title of the series quite yet, but the way this was described is, imagine if John Hughes played D&D.
Uh-oh.
It's called Fantasy High.
Oh, it's Breakfast Club.
Set in the town of Elmville, an odd, anachronistic town resembling a high fantasy John Hughes movie, the bad kids attend Egford Adventuring Academy, a fictional high school designed to teach people how to become adventurous.
Wow.
And it's pitched as the way it's pitched is Brendan Lee Mulligan is an incredible dungeon master. He's a very rules-based dungeon master. And it's pitched, if you think of like Critical Role is amazing, but it can be very dense. It can be very high fantasy, very lore heavy. Like there is a lot to take in with Critical Role. Whereas compared to Dungeons and Daddies, not Dungeon Dads, Dungeons and Daddies, which is the one I talked about, which is barely a D&D podcast. It's more of a comedy podcast. This sits kind of in the middle of it because it is really Dungeons and Dragons play, but it's very funny. And Brendan Lee Mulligan is very happy to go, you know what? What you're suggesting there doesn't work as a spell, but it's funny as fuck, so we're going to do it anyway. It's that kind of attitude. And it's really, really good. It's so well done. Every episode is really snappy. They're about 90 minutes long, each episode.
Yeah.
And it's got a predictable structure as well. So you get one episode that's all roleplay, and then one episode that's entirely combat. So every other episode, you're getting one or the other. And it works out. It's a great listen, and it's really funny. And Brendan is... Brennan, you dickhead. Been calling the wrong name. Brennan Lee Mulligan is his name. Brennan is a fantastic DM, but he's also like a fantastic voice actor. He has so many voices. He's up there with Matthew Mercer, like in his ability to just knock a voice out for with little to no effort. And if you watch it on YouTube, if you go and watch the episodes on YouTube, the battle maps they have are fantastic because, like I say, it's like a John Hughes movie. So it's all these kind of, you know, the first big fight that they have is in the school cafeteria against a monster made of creamed corn.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and they've got the figurines all set up. Everything looks brilliant. Yeah, it's just really high production value, and it's really good. And they've got like 4 or 5 different series of it, all telling like kind of different stories. They have people from Critical Role guest in it from time to time. They've had all of the cast of the Adventure Zone doing a small little campaign.
They'll be asking us soon.
Yeah, soon to be
So.
Scorched Sheep.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really worth listening to or watching.
Well, not if we get their name wrong.
It's Brennan.
Brennan, yeah. Well, I haven't encountered many Brennans in my life. I've encountered a lot more Brendans.
Yeah, same, mate.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not much to talk about really. But yeah, I listened to 10 episodes of that on my drive to the South Coast and back.
Wow, that's how long it took.
Yeah. Absolutely binged it, and it's so accessible to people who aren't normally into D&D. Like Pip's currently sat downstairs watching it.
Ah,
like we started watching it because I wanted to show her just like
so people like me
funny
then.
Moments. Yeah, yeah, you might learn a thing or two.
About time.
Ouch.
They have a bard. She's a tiefling with an attitude problem and a bass guitar.
Oh, never trust a bard. I've always said that.
No, they're the worst. But yeah, Dimension 20, give it a listen or a watch. It is absolutely worth your time. And again, a little bit like our D&D podcast, even if you don't give a shit about D&D, it's worth checking out because it is very funny.
Excellent. Good pick. Right, well, it's me then now. I've done 2 things of note this week, apart from existing. I've started a game called Metro Exodus on the PS5.
Ooh, excellent game.
Oh, this slaps. This fucking slaps.
Hang on a sec. Isn't this like the third shooter that you're playing this
Told
year?
you, I'm going through
Running out
boundaries.
of games, that's why.
I'm bursting. I'm
now we
bursting
have to
through.
go through the FPSs.
Bursting walls down. I'm just going through the motions. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. This doesn't feel like a first-person shooter at all.
No. It does feel more like an RPG than
Just got
anything,
guns. But if you don't know, it's based on the Metro series of novels by Russian name.
Come on, try it. Try it.
No, I haven't written it down because I'm not bothering. Not after the South Korean shit I went through last time.
His name's not that hard.
What is it?
Smirnoff vodka.
Smirnoff vodka. That's his name.
It's Dmitry Glukovsky.
That's the guy. That's him. And the very famous books that's based on basically post-apocalyptic Moscow after the nukes have hit everywhere. And this one is the third one in the series. This is not based in Moscow anymore. This is the Exodus. This is you escaping Moscow and seeing the world. And my God, that world is very beautiful on the PS5 version. My God.
It is.
Wow. The haptic triggers kick in. Everything just, it feels super next gen, even though it was made for last gen. It's just so good.
I think they've basically ported the PC version because I got it on the PC when it first came out because it was the first game to come out with with ray tracing.
Oh, it's there.
I just got my RTX graphics card. I was like, oh, I want all those rays.
It's got some of the best water I've seen in a game. However, Artyom, the character that you play, can't swim. So
No,
it's just to look at, not to swim in. It's just.
Have you played the other games in the series?
I played a bit of the first one back on PS4.
What you'll find, there's a lot of things Artyom can't do.
Yeah, speak for what?
Speak. Climb over certain walls.
Oh, on this one, he's fine. He can get over it, most things, but he can jump and stuff like that. But yeah, what I really like about it is the crafting of you. The guns are like shit guns, like almost steampunk looking things. Some of them are pneumatic, like ball bearing guns and stuff like that. And it's actually quite scary as well. The game, it's pretty horrific, and you've got to monitor all your equipment. You've got gas masks on because there's radiation, and if you get hit in the face, it pops a little hole in your gas mask, and you have to put a plaster on it and stuff like that. It's so fucking cool. But I've got to a point. I think, judging from how long to be, I'm not even a quarter of the way through. It's quite a long game. The worst possible things happened, and this is a brief spoiler. My wife's pregnant, and it worries me much because I don't like when things are in peril like that. So
what about the game?
The game's incredible. No, not my wife. Not my wife. she ain't pregnant. Trust me. But yeah, I'm currently really enjoying that, and it was nice to step out my comfort zone with that. But the main thing I've done.
Just before you move on, did you find the big flappy thing in the first level?
Yeah, the big flappy thing I did. Yeah.
Yeah, when you walk up this tower and go, oh, there must be some nice loot up here, and just this huge kind of monster bird thing looks at you
awful.
And you're just like, oh shit myself.
He was asleep and I disturbed it.
Oh yeah, he's not happy when you disturb him, is he?
It's really good. If you like Fallout, but you can't be asked with the fetch quests, this is perfect for you because it's level based. That's the best thing about it. I think it's not open world.
There's basically like five like massive open world levels.
Yeah.
But they've each just got like kind of bog standard kind of things to kill this thing, go here, find this.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth playing through the first two games, especially the first two games are very much like Half-Life in terms of that they're very linear. But they like introduce you to a new idea and then push yourself forward, and then they drop that and give you another new idea. Very tense games, but Exodus gets very tense in places.
It does that clever Halo thing as well, where you can't have many guns, which I've always loved about Halo. You can't carry all the guns. But yeah, it's really good. But I'm going to move on to something extremely stupid that I've done this weekend. I've watched an nearly 8 hour 3-part documentary on the Beatles. Because this is what I do, don't I? This is what I do. This is called The Beatles Get Back, directed by Peter Jackson and created by Weta Workshop. Now, I'm telling you now, this is all footage.
Haven't turned the Beatles actually into Beatles.
No. This is footage from
lots of aerial shots of Liverpool.
No, it's in London actually. This is this is actually condensed from 50 hours worth of video footage into 8 hours. It's basically the creation of the album Let It Be. But at the time, while they were creating it, they didn't realise it was going to be an album. It was for a TV spot. Then it ended up becoming that very famous gig on the roof that they did, that got stopped by the police. Then, did any of you watch Some Kind of Monster, the Metallica documentary?
Yes, and I laughed my way through.
Imagine that for 8 hours.
Oh, God, I could barely last 2 hours of it.
That sounds like my early 20s.
Yeah, it's so candid. I can't believe Paul McCartney's allowed this to happen, to be fair.
Do they come off as baddies throughout it?
Not baddies, no. Just knobheads.
Well established that they were all knobheads.
Like George Harrison leaves the band, and I didn't even know this about the Beatles, because I'm quite a big fan of the Beatles, especially the when they get back from India Beatles, when they're off their head. I love that about them. I love the crazy Beatles. And Let It Be is one of my favourite albums that they did. It's their last released album, but not the last album that they did in the studio. That was Abbey Road, but release order was weird. And
I thought it was the best of.
Well, they didn't release that. But yeah, it's weird. It's one of those programs or films that you can't watch if you want to quit smoking, because literally every scene, everyone's smoking. There was one scene, and it even makes a note on the documentary where, when you watch it, this documentary has scenes of smoking. That wasn't enough. This is just a cigarette advert. Like, literally, there's the Beatles sat around. Yoko Ono's glued to John Lennon throughout the whole thing as well. She doesn't speak at all in this documentary, but she's just next to him for spiritual guidance. And literally every second, like there's one moment where John Lennon's smoking that much. Do you know how Slash put his singing the head of the guitar?
Yeah.
John Lennon's obviously got a really crappy just studio guitar, and do you know how the wires are all coming out the end? He just puts his cig into the wire, and it just stays into the wire. It's literally ridiculous. And there's scenes where it's like, so we get a drink, and the thing is, the Beatles thought this was all being filmed for a documentary that was going to be on TV then, but it never did. So they knew there were cameras there, and they knew there were hidden microphones everywhere, even in the canteens and stuff like that. So they're playing on it. They know exactly what they're doing, and it's quite funny. To me, the main thing I took from this 8-hour odyssey that I got from it was that it's fucking boring writing an album.
Yep.
It's really boring, because you write, 40 songs and then you only pick 10. Do you know what I mean? And there's the bit at the end, the crescendo, where it's leading to the rooftop gig. I didn't know that this happened, but they had to play the same songs loads of times just to get get good shots. Do you know what I mean? To say it's live and stuff like that, because I still wanted to release the music video and stuff. They played Get Back about 4 times. Do you know what I mean? And that's why the police were getting pissed off. It's like, we've heard it. And it's just
Wonderwall.
Oh yeah, before it's even invented. But yeah, it's good, but it didn't need to be this long. You just needed to have the best bits, like when George Harrison leaves, and then they're all sat there saying, well, we can carry on without him. We don't need him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what? Because he was just a rhythm guitarist. We don't need him. And it's like, we don't even need Ringo.
Whoa. George Harrison wasn't the rhythm guitarist. He was the lead guitarist.
Watch that documentary, mate. Trust me. John Lennon's the lead guitarist in that, especially on that album. But yeah, they were even saying stuff like Ringo sat there just being Ringo, and it's like, we don't even need Ringo. He's not even the best drummer in the band. Do you know what I mean? He's the fucking drummer. It's just, and what I did get from it is that Paul McCartney, literally, there couldn't have been a band without him. He does absolutely everything, like all the writing, all.
I thought he died.
Paul McCartney. No, he's still alive. He's very much alive. I mean, as of this recording.
Isn't that the theory, the conspiracy theory?
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, forgot about that.
Going back to our first episode where Kieran brought that up.
Yeah.
Was it Kieran that brought that up? I think it was, yeah.
Somebody did, yeah. But whoever this man is, he's named Paul McCartney. And he does absolutely, I knew he was obviously the better of the singers. and a lyricist, but he literally does everything. It's like, come here, Ringo, give me them drumsticks. And he's on drums showing him how to play it. And it's like, give me that guitar, give me that piano. Do you know what I mean? He does the whole fucking thing. And that's why they all get pissed off and want to leave, because it's just him.
Yeah, but it also does go to explain why out of the four of them, like after the Beatles split, he was the one that had the most prolific career.
Yeah, because he's the one that needed to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, John Lennon did get assassinated, but that's
Well,
by the by.
but like the amount of releases between the Beatles splitting up and a cutoff date, shall we say?
Yeah.
Like in that time, Paul McCartney had Wings, he had his own solo stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
he was actually a genius when it comes to, because he was saying stuff like, no, do it like this, do it like, and everything he was saying to do it like, absolutely spot on, bang on the money. He just had the ear for it. And another thing, like, it was created by Weta Workshop, which is, I think it's Peter Jackson's studio, isn't it? That.
Yep.
And this documentary looks like it was filmed last week. I don't know what they've done with the colour. I don't know how they've made it look this good.
Have you seen Shall Not Grow Old?
No, I haven't. No.
Just incredible. That's what he did before.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Took world like the Great War footage,
And
colorized
made it look good.
like increase, like
Mate, this looks like it was filmed
messed around with
week,
the sound
like I
mixing
said.
and everything, so it all looks like it's like brand new. Did they do? Because in that one, they had talking heads, but you couldn't see them. It was just voiceovers.
Yeah, he does things like that. Yeah, there's no narrator in this documentary at all. It's just you get writing at the bottom for certain big moments, and it's just I just think it's fascinating. All four of them, when they're in the room, they're like, "Oh, so this be as last, so we're not doing any more after this." And they're like, "Yeah, we're a bit bored." I didn't know the Beatles split up quite amicably. I didn't know that. I thought there must have been some kind of fallout, but no, they're just not asked. Which is quite nice to know, because they were still mates and stuff like that. Like when George Harrison quit in the making of this album, they were like, "So are we after George's tonight then?" "Yeah, we'll go see George, if he's all right." They're just, do you know what I mean? They're all millionaires by this point. They don't even care. It's just contractual obligations and stuff like that. And it obviously came out with a really good. I like Let It Be. I think it's a good album. Not the best, but yeah, I watched it. I don't know why I watched it all. It's the same when I did it with Justice League. I just do these things to myself. Obviously, I weren't fully concentrating on it. It's just the band making an album in front of me. I was on the Switch and stuff like that. But yeah, I recommend it for someone that's got a lot of time on their hands.
So you.
And really, really likes the Beatles, because it is fascinating, but I think
if this had been like 2.5 hours,
it could have been.
I might have watched it. I'm not really massively into Beatles. I like some of their songs, but I liked what he did with They Shall Not Grow Old. So yeah, if it had been like 2.5 hours, yeah, I'd give that a go, see what the buzz is. But I'm not sitting for 8 hours.
It is so incredibly well made. Like, I don't get how that techno. I think it's. I thought it was fake. It looks that good. It looks that modern. I'm like, how the fuck have they done this? This is all.
You say it's a film?
It's an 8-hour 3-part film.
Wow. Imagine going to the cinema for that.
No, it's on Disney Plus. Don't worry.
The Snyder Cut.
We don't need a cut. We need a mega cut of this. I'm telling you now, it needs to be sliced and diced.
The Yoko cut.
The real last thing I want to chat about is just how hilarious it is when because they're one of those bands that write the melody first and they don't have any lyrics to it, and the fucked up lyrics that they sing before it's actually the finalized lyrics. Some of them are hilarious. I've already seen them on TikTok now, just blowing up people. Some of the songs and stuff. It's so fucking hilarious. So yeah, it's hard to recommend, but I really liked it because it's just so fucking long.
You know, just thinking about long films. Take a guess between you all. What do you think the longest film ever is? Not the name of it, but just how long do you reckon it is?
I'm pretty sure there's a 12-hour film, isn't there?
12 hours? Anyone else got a guess what they think the longest film ever
22.
is?
I was going to say about 6.
The longest one I've ever seen is about 4.5, but yeah, it's obviously not the longest one ever made.
So apparently it says here, logistics, clocking in at a total runtime of 35 days and 17 hours.
The fuck?
What the?
That needs editing.
That's not a film, that's a sentence.
I don't know whether that's a... Yeah, experimental films, 51,420 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
That's insane. I mean, that's the next thing I'll watch then. because I'm up for these marathon sessions. But yeah, get back. It's fascinating. Mainly, if you're into cinematography, it's quite fascinating. But if you're into the Beatles, it's even better. And I don't care what anyone says. I really like the Beatles, so I don't care if it's not cool. Fuck you. Right, after all that nonsense, let's get into the main topic at hand. And you're back, Biggie, and I want you to do this with all the gusto that you've got. Tell everyone what we're doing today.
All right,
Yeah,
we're doing this.
Oh, it's good to have him back, isn't it?
Not Biggie too.
Do you know that we were both speaking over the top of each other, and you could just tell. I mean, I know I'm taking the piss anyway, but like you could just see the deep voice of Biggie, and then me like, "All right, I'm Biggie."
It's nice little harmony.
Yeah. Our main topic this week is about our favourite tech from the last decade.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's in capitals. Just read it that way. What piece of new tech advancements over the last 10 years has excited us the most? It could be a thing we owned or something huge from the tech giants.
Yeah, this is a good one. We've been excited for this because we're all nerds. And I want to start with the nerdiest man I know. Gadget.
I knew it. So I'm going to talk about electric cars.
Oh.
Because electric cars have existed beyond the last 10 years or so. No. The ones you can actually drive in real life.
You can get on a Scalextric like rollerblades.
Yeah, not for very long, though. Yeah, electric cars have existed for more than the last 10 years, but it's kind of, I think, in the last 10 years or so that
the advancement.
A thing that people are interested in. You know, if you ask most people what they consider the original electric car was, everyone's going to think about that wonderful little shoe-shaped thing, the Sinclair C5.
Yes, that one. That I remember seeing that video and Noel Edmonds rolling up on one.
Yeah,
it's really famous. Like, look, this is the future. It's not.
No, it wasn't. Almost bankrupted Clive Sinclair as well.
I've just looked it up. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's if you look up some of the videos on it, there's great videos like BBC reports of him kind of pootling around London in it.
Yeah, saying you don't need a driving license for this. Well, that means the police are probably going to ban it then.
Yeah, there's a guy here just like driving past a black cabbie and just reaching in, just shaking hands in the middle of the road.
It's pathetic.
But that wasn't a car, really. That was technically a tricycle.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you didn't need a driver's license for that. But no, sort of, I think it's one of those things that as any socially conscious person would realize, you know, the world's heating up, everything's getting a bit surreal, and
the world's ending,
climate
guys.
change is a thing. And it's taken us far too long to get to the point where electric cars are a thing, but they are now. And much as I loathe the man, you have to give credit to Elon Musk for pushing Tesla the way he did.
Man's a strong word.
Lizard.
Yes.
Alien.
And like I say, I detest him. I think he's a massive cunt, and I will not hear a good word about him.
I think he's got secrets that'd make just the most heinous man weep. I reckon that man's a evil man.
He probably is. I mean, his parents own like a diamond mine in South Africa.
Yeah,
He's got good ideas about things, hasn't he? Though, but some of them are a bit out there.
So did Thanos.
But hey, well, if you've watched Hawkeye, you'll know that some people think he was right.
Did your daughter think he was right?
From the last pod, you talk about Zuckerberg throwing up on his food, like,
Yeah.
I can see Elon Musk doing exactly
Zuckerberg's
the same thing.
the fly, Elon Musk's the lizard, and if them two get in a room, he's just going to lick him up.
Okay. Okay, pushing so far away from that as quickly as possible. Because of Tesla, electric cars were considered cool. And, you know, there were these ridiculous publicity things like when SpaceX kind of kicked off and Elon Musk launched his Tesla Roadster into the sky.
Yeah.
You know, because he's a billionaire and he can do shit like that. Fair enough, whatever. But Teslas became this kind of de facto idea of what an electric car should be. When you looked at the interior, they looked different to your average road car. There was a lot made of the fact that an electric car, because it doesn't have a gearbox or anything like that, has kind of not unlimited torque, but it's like instant torque. Like you put your foot down an electric car and it fucking goes.
Shit off a shovel, isn't it?
Yeah. And Tesla made the idea of an electric car cool because the cars look nice. I know apparently the quality control is absolutely terrible. But when you see one driving down the street, you think, oh, there's a Tesla. You know, it's like you don't think the same for like a Peugeot E208
or a Nissan Leaf.
Or a Nissan Leaf, which might be the dullest car ever created. But they are getting more popular, and the big brands now have seen that, you know, the writing is on the wall. The UK government said that I think all new cars have to be electric by 2030. And other countries are like 2035, 2040,
Gulf are
that
weeping.
kind of thing.
What about our oil?
Well, yeah. And I like the fact that everything is pushing in this way because I think electric cars are really cool. I think...
Mate, I think they're cool as well.
There are a lot of limitations with the internal combustion engine that have we've put up with for years. The noise of them, the smell of them, the fact that
dangerous.
Petrol and diesel cost so much.
You're basically sitting on an explosion all day. It's crazy.
I've seen what happens when you pierce a lithium battery.
Yeah, that's true.
Up to this point, like all electric cars have been normal road cars converted to be electric. And we're starting to get cars now which are designed from the ground up to be electric cars. So they have a lot of things in them which electric cars never had to consider. So like the idea is most of the time you're actually just sitting on top of the batteries. The drivetrains are different. You get all the wheels can be powered individually, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I like the fact that maintenance costs can be lower on them because it's all modular. You know, if you blow a motor, you just pull the motor out and put another one in, generally speaking. He says, not being an expert in fixing electric cars at all, but having seen the modular setups for them. Batteries in electric cars are starting to get to the point where they're being rated for about 500,000 miles.
That's mad, isn't it?
Whereas you'd expect out of your most non-Volvos to get about 250,000 miles out of a car.
Yeah.
Volvos obviously being the exception to that rule because they will go until the sun explodes.
Yes.
If you can kill a Volvo, then you are a terrible person and need to be monitored by authorities.
Cockroaches and Volvos are going to be the last thing when the asteroid hits.
Exactly, yeah. But specifically those old 80s Volvos.
Yeah, if you're inside one of them during a nuclear apocalypse, you're fine, you're safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Better than a fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think electric cars are really cool, and I think it'll get to the point. At the minute, they're not really that economical to get because they're still really expensive. They tend to only do about 300 miles on them, but the charging network in this country and also in America is shit.
Yeah.
Like, they're one of those things that if you... Like me, my driving just tends to be runabout stuff. Drive to the shops, drive to my mum's, that kind of thing. I'm not going very far. I could get away with an electric car. But anyone who does any distance or any kind of consistent commuting that is over 50 miles a day, you're probably going to need to stick with a petrol car for a while. But once that charging network gets built up and once they find ways that you can charge an electric car in under 3 hours, the network will be brilliant. There's a great video, I've talked about him before on this, Marquez Brownlee.
Yeah.
The tech guy on YouTube. He did a video where he did 1,000-mile round trip test between a Tesla Model S, the Ford E Mustang, and a petrol Audi. And he proved that you can do 1,000-mile road trip in America in a Tesla reasonably unbothered.
He's got that cool matte black one, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Because Tesla in America have a really good supercharger network. And you just like plug in your route and it tells you which supercharger to stop at for like 20 minutes here to make sure you arrive with like 40% battery. But the E Mustang, you can't use Tesla superchargers in America because it's a proprietary socket, so they've got to use the public network. And that one fucked them over.
Oh, it's like Apple all over again.
Yeah,
it is. Well, the thing is, in this country, you can charge a Tesla at any charging point because
European standards, isn't it?
Yeah, EU rules. They all have to have the same charging connection, which works out much better.
Which is happening to phones in the next year.
Yeah. iPhone 14 now without a port.
Yeah, no port. We're not putting one in.
Yeah, but yeah, I think electric. I know this has been a little bit of a ramble, but I just really like electric cars. I think they're really cool in the future, and I know my next car will be an electric car because, like I say,
at least a hybrid.
Just No, I'm just going to go full electric.
Nice, mate. I think what they need
all my mileage is just pootling around. Like, and if I need to go any distance, like if I need to drive to the South Coast, to drive to, well, I just rent an internal combustion engine car just for the convenience of it.
I'll get a train.
Or get
No.
public.
Ew.
I don't do
Have
public
you-
transport.
Have you heard of the Boring Company?
Which is Elon Musk's company, the one that made
Yeah,
the
another
flamethrower.
company, and that's so they're building. Well, in the States, they're building tunnels, and I think they're developing. They're specifically for electric cars, and probably give priority to Teslas, or will do. But they're going to, I think, developing charging roads.
The Kinetic Road Network, yeah.
Yeah.
They've got trials in Germany already, haven't they? Where certain sections of I don't know if it's the Autobahn or something like that.
It won't be the Autobahn. It's
No.
too busy to do that kind of thing. But yeah,
something where you can try. You go over it and it charges a tiny little portion due to kinetic. It has to be a specific model car. It has to be, which is not on sale.
But if that can become a standard, great.
Yes. I mean,
Like,
you could even toll that road because you
Real
know
life scale
you're
electrics.
going to charge it. You're going to charge your
Okay, yeah.
car. It's going to be in good condition. Put a toll on it. No one's going to mind that.
Yeah.
Well, even if it's not charging your car, even if it's just stopping you
Draining.
expelling charge.
Yes.
Yeah. Even if it's just like holding you a trickle. Fine,
Yeah.
great. Just extend the range that way. That would be perfect for the motor. Much as we gripe about the motorways in this country are actually pretty decent in most places because they're just these long stretches of road where you can get from A to B pretty unencumbered.
Yeah.
Well, I think, aren't they saying new houses are supposed to be developed with a charging point?
Yes. Yes.
Or the-
or the ability to add one easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, when they wire up the fuse box, make sure there's a spur coming off to the garage.
Yeah, I
My-
think a
my
lot
only
of places will need it.
Yeah. My only concern is that, like we've seen with phones, is that there's a deliberate battery life, literally, on them. So
you have to buy a
they
new
will-
one.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll have a shelf life. They don't necessarily need a shelf life, but they'll put one on there anyway to keep selling new
If they're
cars.
clever, you'll never own an electric car. You'll lease it or you'll rent it.
I'm perfectly happy to lease cars
and
like
you'll
that.
upgrade it like a phone every 3 years.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong
No,
with that.
it's-
The model works. It's been working for years.
Yeah, but it'll also get to the point where there has to be some which are like ultra affordable because not everyone will be able to
Yeah,
afford
little
these
hatchback
cars.
things.
Yeah, you'll know that the market is hit properly when you can buy like a little kind of city car electric new for 10 grand.
Yeah. That's
Basically,
that's
when Dacia can start selling them.
yeah, the Sandero Plus.
Yeah, exactly. Sandero E.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah.
I wonder if you're like monthly, say you're getting like a PCP deal or whatever they're called, if some of the deals that you'll get will also include the charging fees as well at petrol stations.
Probably
whatever
not.
They'll be.
Probably not.
So it depends. Like sometimes, Tesla used to do a thing in America where you could, if you bought a certain model Tesla, you would get like 3 months worth of supercharging for free and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And you can play Skyrim on it.
You can. You
So-
can play The Witcher. You can play The Witcher 3 as
Yeah,
well.
and Doom.
The only problem with Teslas is they're like iPhones, aren't they, with their specific charging point? They're not just like a
In the
general-
US, yeah,
yeah,
not in this country.
and not in this country, but in the US, Tesla can actually ban you from charging your car.
They can stop it happening, yeah. Even if you can
Yeah.
get it plugged in, they
That's-
can stop you.
That's a bit fucking.
There was that thing that
Well, innit?
I watched it over a month where a guy had a lease Tesla and he'd not paid that month's lease. And however many times he plugged the car in, it wouldn't work. He wouldn't charge because they somehow blocked it somehow.
Yeah, there's also stupid shit with the Teslas.
Getting hacked.
Like for instance, if you want the autonomous driving, so not cruise control or anything, but if you want like the
where you can
autopilot
sit in the
thing,
back.
which you shouldn't.
No.
Yeah. You have to. It's like 10 grand on top of the cost for the car, but it's not actually implemented yet. They haven't even put it into beta.
Yeah, that frightens me. That because of obviously the calculations. That's like there's cones in the road. There's cones. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Sorry, I'm looking on Tesla's website now. Enhanced autopilot is 3,400 on top of the cost of it,
oh, you've sold me.
and full self-driving capability, which doesn't exist yet, is 6,800 on top of that. But I'm just looking at what
How much are machine guns on it?
Ejector seat.
Yeah.
So a Tesla Model 3 with the self-auto driving on their cash price, and this is just like the family hatchback version, is £51,290. And if you wanted to do it on PCP, that is £701 a month
Mate,
for 48 months.
that's you're signing your life away.
Do you get an Xbox Series X with it?
You don't
as
need
well?
one. It plays games anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean there's like an add-on gift?
Yeah, I can see Oodles having palpitations there, but yeah. So this is the thing: that the price obviously needs to massively come down for it to be more widely.
You need to be
adopted.
£200 a month or something like that at most.
Which I mean, they'll be getting close. I know Vauxhall have got an electric version of the Mocha, which I think is about $250 a month if you want the bottom level one.
Mocha chocolate
They're
latte.
getting there. Don't argue, it's what I drive. Not the electric version. I've got a
no,
Mocha,
I've seen it. It's nice. Nice.
But yeah, the cost on them and then the range needs to go up. But yeah, I think electric cars are really cool, and they are literally the future.
Yeah, because sometimes you see things and you think, oh, that could be the future, but it probably won't be. This definitely is. There's no two ways about it. In our lifetime, it's going to be mainstream. Yeah, there's no choice. There's this or a train, and like Gadget says, he doesn't like trains.
No,
because people are on them.
And the last thing I will say about electric cars, or actually this is kind of the one compliment I'll give Tesla, their business model, they've changed how people buy cars.
Oh.
Because previously, anyone who's ever bought a car, you've got to go to a dealership, you've got to then have the sales pitch and that. Tesla were the first company to go out there and go, no, you can just fucking buy that online.
Yeah,
go down to a dealership to test drive one if you want, but to buy one, you have to order it on the website. And there's now a few companies that are starting to do that, where you can just order a car online and not have to bugger around with dealerships.
Cool,
I hate buying cars. Such a pain in the arse dealing with dealers.
Yeah, salespeople are the worst. But but yeah,
especially phone salespeople.
Yeah, they're foul. But the thing that the legacy for me so far about Tesla is throwing that brick at that Cybertruck.
Fucking hilarious. Because the Cybertruck is hideous anyway. It's awful.
That's the one legacy I've got for it so far.
I love that video. Hey, look at this. It's like bulletproof glass hurls a ball bearing it just shatters.
And he goes, oh. Well, if you look, it didn't actually. The glass didn't shatter. It's like, no, that's not what you wanted. Not what you wanted. We've had
safety or something.
We've had bulletproof glass for fucking 70 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, he's full of stupid shit. Like if you got the current Model S, it doesn't have a steering wheel anymore. It's got a yoke.
Like, oh god,
like a flight stick, and no stalk. So like your indicators are touch sensitive buttons on the steering wheel. The horn isn't the middle bit of the steering wheel. It's like a little touch sensitive. He's
actually a
button
real
on the
life
top.
Thunderbird, isn't he? He's got his own Tracy Island.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's a creep. But anyway, we'll get an Elon Musk on the show next week.
Undercunt.
Biggie, yours.
Hello. Yes, so I wanted to talk about modems.
I thought you were joking.
I am.
Oh.
No, I want to talk about Twitch. So I know we had a private chat about whether this is included or not, but I felt it is important to talk about Twitch. Just for those, just in the random nature that people don't know what it is. It's a video live streaming service that focuses mainly on video game live streaming.
And
that includes broadcasts of sports, competitions, and addition offers music, creative content, and more recently in real life streams. Yay! It's operated by Twitch Interactive, a subsidiary of Amazon, and was introduced in June 2011, so it does count. And as a spin-off of the general interest streaming platform Justin TV. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Justin TV was great.
So, content on the site can be viewed either live or via video on demand. So, for those that follow me or us on here, it's been used for gaming streams. I too have had mixed results with my streams, whether it's Dark Souls or my somewhat interesting Final Fantasy VII
Blue screen of death.
The stream that no one ever saw.
Right.
Well, that was more of a Sony issue than a Twitch issue.
You can't blame Twitch for
It
that.
was brilliant. Even I logged in
Dark-
to see it, and I was just like, oh, I'm just watching a blue screen, and Biggie not realising and chatting away. Just
And we were telling him, explain what's happening. He's like, the high wind's there, and oh, there's the high wind. There's the high wind again. So funny.
But, yeah, and it's great when you have the support from the viewers that have joined you, whether they're guiding you or encouraging you to keep going. But it also, unfortunately, comes with the trolling effect too, particularly when you have so-called friends like Enflem and Sly Reflex, cunts of the show, winding you up and poking fun at your failings. But it's all done in jest, hopefully. we ourselves have done a few talkovers, play games together, interacted with our listeners too. So it's a great format for that. But it's not just for gaming. Personally, for this year, I've discovered that DJs have also turned to Twitch during the pandemic, as they've been unable to sort of book the live events that they used to. So whilst I've been working from home, it's meant that I can have Twitch running in the background. And I've discovered or been watching some of the DJs I mentioned on here before, like Scratch Bastard, The Gaff, DJ Epic, DJ Newmark from Jurassic 5, Jazzy Jeff, Maceo from De La Soul, just to name a few, who will all stream for hours for free, or you can subscribe and support them and drop bits and all that sort of stuff in to give them a little helping hand. But it's not just that, it's the communities that also follow. Will randomly drop subs for followers as well, people new who have just tuned in, if they're trying to sort of raise awareness for the channel. I was literally watching DJ Epic the other night and my subscription had finished, so I was thinking about resubscribing and someone just gave me a sub just like that out of the blue. It's just so nice, the support for the communities as well. The same sort of people follow the same sort of DJs, and there's sort of this little community that you keep seeing the same names pop up. You're watching them, you all chat about stuff in life or just enjoy the vibe of the DJs that are playing. It's excellent. It's just really lifted me this year, having these DJs playing in the background, playing some incredible music. I've updated my playlists for my Spotify as well, discovering music I hadn't heard or some mixes. It's just generally been great, and I think for what Twitch was originally created for, what it's evolved into now, and what it could do in the future, it's just fantastic. I love it. I think it's amazing.
I think even if it's not Twitch that does it in the future, it's a good forefather for what will be the future.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to remember the ground level when, like, because there's been a few like Twitch clones that have just not hit like Twitch has.
Yeah, like YouTube.
No, like that Microsoft one,
Mixer.
Mixer, that's it.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, we've got that. We've got that.
Signed that
yeah,
big
we've got that
deal for it,
Ninja
didn't he?
guy, and he's back on Twitch, I believe. I bet.
Yeah, well, the problem with Mixer is they didn't make it convenient for people to watch Mixer. Because there wasn't like an iPhone app for it. You had to watch it on your Xbox or sat at your computer or anything.
I mean, the phone app for Twitch is fucking shit, but it does the job.
I mean, it's been around for years, and they've
allows
finally had
you
the
to
ability
watch
to
Gadget in
subscribe
the
to
bath.
people.
Yeah, they have. It's good for watching Gadget in the bath. Yeah.
What's up, stream?
But yeah, I mean, just someone like Scratch, who I mentioned before, the fact that he regularly does streams for like 4 or 5 hours, and yes, he does obviously get money from subs and stuff, but it's just enjoying. You can see the smile on his face when he's doing it for that long.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever streamed for that long or done anything like that live for that amount of time, and it must be exhausting at times. You're standing up and you're still thinking about what you're doing, but chatting with the community as well. But he just does it. He loves it, and it's just amazing to see. I tell you what, one thing, if you've never done it, is go down a rabbit hole on Twitch and just start randomly watching Twitch. It's just incredible, some of the weird stuff that we've discovered. And Flem and myself.
You get comedians on it and stuff as well, don't you? Like,
yeah, there's some weird stuff out there. It really is.
And some
problem is if you
more seedy things as well.
If you do that, then your algorithm sometimes says, "Oh, you watch this," and then all of a sudden it's
foot
just
fetish.
It just puts it on your main page.
I don't know about y'all guys, but mine's just foot fetishes from top to bottom. So could be more about me that.
Ladies in hot tub.
Yeah, ladies in hot tubs playing Skyrim.
That's what I get.
yeah. Even if
market research for you, Candy, isn't it?
Even if Twitch doesn't survive in 10 years' time, that bedrock that it's created, that's a legacy, mate, that you can't ignore.
Yeah, and once you get your head around how it works, because it gets a bit fiddly at first. You got all these emotes, and you have to be either sub to use some, and you get notifications, and you don't quite know what you're doing with any new app. But once you get your head around it, it's great. I love it.
Too many buttons to press, Biggie.
I must say it's been it has been a lifesaver for me for the last couple of years, especially because it's not only is it a bit of company and background noise and everything, but if you just want to sort of hang out with mates whilst playing a game, you just switch on Twitch and people will comment, and it makes you feel a little bit less lonely sometimes. But I'm the same. I've discovered streamers that I really, really like and just watch regularly. It is good fun. And like you said, it may not be Twitch that continues because I don't think it's particularly supportive of its users.
No, it's pretty nasty to them, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But that concept is a really good one, really strong concept. So I'll be excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, just
it's amazing to see the kind of careers that people can make off it, just doing whatever they do and happen to do it live. Like there was that leak recently where like the earnings of like the top channels came out.
And what were we earning?
We didn't place, unfortunately. But like the top earning channel on Twitch is Critical Role, and they make just under $10 million a year just from Twitch revenue.
That makes sense, though,
including their sponsorships and stuff like that. No, the second one is a young Canadian lad. He goes by XQC, and he made in 2020 $8.5 million. Just in like subs and bits and stuff like that.
I need to start going on Twitch more.
Right, we need to all get green screens. We need to get costumes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, seriously. When I was watching,
fully into this for Scorched.
Yeah.
I don't know who these people are. I was watching Scratch one night and doing one of their hype train things, and one of his followers just chucked in like 20 subs. You know, people.
Candy does it all fucking
spare
time.
Cash to do it. Yeah, it's just amazing. I think that's just fantastic. You wouldn't get that on anything else, would you?
You need to get on our channel when Candy's had a glass of wine.
When she's had a wine, she just gives everyone
Literally.
a sub. It's like, I've already got one, stop giving me another.
I'm like a lonely 40-something at a strip club.
Making it rain subs.
Literally.
Dance for me, watchers.
But yeah, that's a very good, poignant discussion there on Twitch. Thank you very much, Biggie. Right then, so we'll move on to me because I fancy it. I want to talk about something very obvious. What I would talk about. I want to talk about mobile phones because it's the only thing.
It was in my honourable mentions. The advancement of mobile phones.
It's the only thing I know. It's the only thing I can.
Trying
the
to sell us
streams
some
are crossing
contracts
here.
here, innit?
Yeah,
It's the only
it's personal.
We actually
professionalised.
don't know if you're a good seller either.
Mate,
We've got
I'm
feedback on that.
fucking top tier.
Right, well, my contract runs out on the 13th of December.
Sort you
So
out, pal.
go on, let's go. Come on.
But yeah, I've always loved phones. Like, obviously, if people don't know me, I sell them for a living as well. Massive fascination with them. I just think they're incredible. And let's say 20 years ago, I don't think they were good. I think they were shit. But we all started getting one, didn't we? We all liked Snake. You know what I mean? We all liked as Nokias and as Motorola Razors and stuff like that.
Ringtone editor. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, making a couple of quid from your mates for making the Simpsons ringtone for each other.
Crazy Frog.
Having the Halloween theme on your ringtone.
Polyphonic ringtones. But the last 10 years, some of the greatest handsets, in my opinion, have come out. And this is very personal because everyone's very, I like this, I like that. Now, I'm quite phone agnostic. I like all. I like your Androids, I like your Apples. There's not anything else to choose from anymore, unfortunately. There used to be a bit more of a choice. But yeah, I like iOS, I like Apple. And what I've got here are my three notable phones that really meant a lot to me in the last 10 years because I go through phones like people go through underpants. I mean, I'm in the industry. I can get a phone quite easily and quite cheap.
Big fan of burner phones, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Straight up the prison wallet. I definitely. But this is the first phone the first one I want to chat about is the first time I heard the phrase flagship killer. Now that is
Fuck's sake.
no that
Marketing bullshit.
that is proper marketing bullshit. But that's a hot thing now, isn't it? This is a flagship killer. What that means is it's not a £900 phone. It's somewhere mid range and it's got that £900 premium to it. Who remembers the Nexus 4?
I remember that one.
Created by LG, collaboration with Google. Now, the Nexus phones, for anyone that doesn't know, in Android terms, is the most stock Android you could possibly get at that moment in time, which is 2013. A lot of people listening to this have probably got a Galaxy or an iPhone. Now, a Galaxy is very, very layered version of Android.
Hobbled, I think is the word.
Yeah, hobbled. So
With fucking vaporware and
the
bullshit.
actual Android platform is very, very wafer thin. There's it basically relies on its apps. It can't do much without the apps. So the Nexus line of phones, starting from the original Nexus, was Google's way, before the Pixel existed, which exists now, which is created by Google. It was their way of saying, this is the most vanilla Android you can get, which means fast, means speed. It means we can focus on camera technology, which a lot of people forget. Phones are also cameras, because people have just got used to the fact now that they've got the camera phones. The Nexus 4 for me was one of the most beautiful phones I'd ever seen in my life. It had this beautiful rear to it. Now, if you have a quick Google search of what that looked like, nothing.
Doing it.
I'm doing this while you mention these phones.
Yeah, nothing spectacular to nowadays. But then it was just.
I'm just looking at porn.
But you
The
cock
sparkly
away.
one.
Yeah, the sparkly one.
Yeah, same on Biggie's porn.
and the fact that it was LG that made it, and they were in the prime then. I mean, LG, rest in peace, LG. They don't make phones anymore, but
No, retired.
they're retired.
It's all about the TVs.
And this
Top TVs.
phone launched at £300 and then quickly went to £200. And this had some of the it had a 720p screen. This is 2013, by the way. It had a Snapdragon S4 Pro chipset and 8 megapixel 1080p camera, which is fucking mega for that price. That's mega for that price now. I mean, obviously the Snapdragon needs to be a lot better, but yeah, it just had everything that it needed to be, and it was fucking gorgeous. And it was the first phone I'd ever seen wireless charging. That blew my mind.
Wireless charging.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, it did. But it wasn't a big marketing selling point. But yeah, I just found the phone fascinating. I had it for a year, which is long for me. It's a long time. I don't know if you guys ever held one or looked at a Nexus.
No.
They were I don't know what phones you guys were rocking in 2013. Probably just iPhones, yeah.
No,
I think I had a BlackBerry.
A BlackBerry, yeah. BlackBerry. That was a choice back then.
2013, I had a Galaxy Note 3.
I like the Note 3. Yeah, that was a good
Oh,
one.
actually, I might have done that. I had the only iPhone I've ever had is an iPhone 4, so that might have been
No,
around.
it was around, but yeah, you might have been mid-contract on that one.
Oh, released
Was
2010.
the-
Yeah, so no, I've that's the only one I've had, and I've just had Androids.
Wow.
since.
Sony Xperia out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it was, yeah.
I think I had an Xperia.
Yeah, I've flitted between Sony's,
Z1.
Samsung's, and
See, your Sonys they've not been very bloaty. They've had their own like Sony experience, like UI or whatever, but not as bloaty. Samsung is ridiculous. Still to this day, that one touch. It used to be called TouchWiz, didn't it? And now it's like
Yeah.
One UI. It's a lot better One UI, but it's still Samsung as fuck. It's the best way to
Bixby
describe
can
it.
go and fuck himself.
Yeah, Bixby's got his own
Yeah.
button. He's got his own
Just
button.
chimes in every now and again.
Yeah, it's just horrible. But the Nexus line, they like you get a Pixel now. That is pure Google. But this was just, I don't know. There was something special about that relationship between LG and Google. It clicked and it worked. But the next one I want to talk about is a fun little ditty of a phone. The iPhone 5C, released the same year as the Nexus, but the back end, because iPhones always release at the back end. I got the green one. If you don't know what the 5C looks like, it's the cheap looking one, the colourful
I
one.
was going to say it was just a 5 with a plastic shell, wasn't it?
Minging.
I think it was a
Yeah,
I think it was a
remember
4S with a plastic shell, mate. I don't think it was as powerful as a 5.
I never thought they were particularly good.
Ugh.
The main thing I liked about it was green, and the fact that I could afford that was my very first iPhone, because it launched. Without looking, how much do you think it launched price?
I think it was $399.
2013. Bear in mind, it launched at
I think it was
£469, £469, which to this day is considered very cheap for an Apple phone, which is mind blowing, isn't it? But yeah, the main thing I liked about it was just sexy. But it was
Was it like a no frills sort of iPhone to the point where it was?
it was
why
like an
it's so
iPod
cheap.
Touch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was it like the last gen's iPhone repackaged.
Yeah, basically, I think it was a 4S innards. But it was nice. It was small, and I don't like huge monoliths when it comes to phones. But yeah, I like that one. And the last one I want to talk about is the phone that meant the world to me. The phone that I had the longest. I had this phone for 3 years. This is a big one. and this is the one that hurts the most because they don't make phones anymore. The company doesn't exist anymore. The HTC One.
Oh, that was a very good. Well, the One or the One M8?
The M8 I'm talking about, which is the second HTC One, isn't it?
Yeah. The One M8 was fantastic. That was the metal back one, wasn't it?
It was metal.
HTC was my first like proper smartphone, and everyone was getting iPhones. I was like, no, like the HTC, it's faster, it's got a better camera on it, it's the same size as iPhones, like it's cheaper. Like, why would you go for an iPhone when you could have this?
Yeah.
Then I went for an iPhone after.
This got me away from the Apple ecosystem for many years. After the 5C, £500 blower, that one, which is not a lot for the specs it yielded. It was so fantastic. Like Gadget, you'll remember it, don't you?
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah,
very
really
popular. You saw it quite often in a nightclub because it had a fantastic camera on the back.
A good camera. I remember it had stereo speakers on the front of it for when you were jamming the music.
So, yeah, when you were at a barbecue or something, you could put your HTC One on as a speaker. It was fantastic. Now HTC aren't here anymore. Unfortunately, they've retired. I thought they made some of the sexiest phones going. I know it sounds weird to say technology is sexy and stuff like that, but people forget that the first thing you see when you see a product is how it looks. And I just think everything about it was so good. The unibody metal, the metal body and everything. The HTC Experience, I think it was called, the platform that they ran over top of Android. It wasn't that bloated. It had the annoying news feed that now Apple have taken for their newsstand and stuff like that. They stole that completely. But I didn't need news then. I still don't need news now. But it was there, and I don't know. And it was really good for emulation as well. If you're into that kind of thing, it was so powerful. And yeah, and I just want to know before we move on, I want to know your guys' favourite phone from your life. Don't say the one you've got now.
No, I was just looking at what my HTC was. I had the Hero. What a name!
I remember the Hero. Yeah,
the Hero with the
big
little
clock on the front.
I had that little like kind of tilt at the bottom and the little ball,
ergonomic ball.
Yeah,
the Hero was. The Desire was good as well.
See, I don't know if I've ever had any particularly like sexy or impressive phones in that. I've had ones with like decent features.
I imagine you read up on it even then.
Oh yeah. I always made sure I got the best value for money. I remember probably one of my favourite ones I ever had was the Sony Ericsson W810i. The little Walkman one. Little black and orange Walkman.
Yeah, with the proper decent headphones with it as well.
I had those headphones for years.
Yeah, they were so good.
So good. But you talking about phones, it's got me thinking. I know this is kind of like pushing away from the brief slightly, but I miss the days of the mid-2000s when Nokia were on acid.
Yeah.
And they were putting out some
banana
fucking
phone.
Weird shit. No, yeah, the N-Gauge. Yeah. I've got the N-Gauge right here,
Jacko
and it's
phone.
just like...
I had one that you turned, like, you could open it up, and then you twisted the camera so it looked like you holding like a little video camera.
I remember that one as well.
Yeah, Nokia really were on acid for a while.
Do you remember when like Nokia tried to get the ladies and they had like that lipstick shaped phone and stuff like that?
I had one.
Yeah.
Completely impressive.
It didn't have a good.
What was it? It was like a spinning dial or something
it had
like that.
The one and the 3 on the side and the 2 in the middle. It was so weird. You couldn't type on the bastard.
But
should have had a vibrating feature.
You couldn't read anything on it because the screen was reflective, so it could be your mirror for your handbag.
Oh God, yeah. I hate when the market
weirdos.
technology to like a certain sex and stuff like that. It winds me up.
I'm just more upset that it worked on me.
Yeah, it did. Mate, the N-Gauge worked on me. I was like, oh my God, I get to play Tomb Raider on this little thing. Yes, but you've got to take the battery out. And then you've got to install it every time you've took the game out and put it back in. And then you've got to turn phone mode off so no one rings you and stops the game. Oh, God, it was so horrible, that N-Gauge.
And then they redesigned the N-Gauge so that you could put the cartridge in from the outside, but then they gave it spongy buttons which didn't respond to any presses.
Oh, God. I tell you what, the PlayStation phone was good, that Sony one they did. Remember that one?
Yeah, but they never put any fucking games out for it.
They didn't. That was really good. But any more phone memories?
I think I'm going to have to go for a 3310. I remember going to Download Festival.
You really like that?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
Do anything.
I went from the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fuck. Well, I'm going to go for mine anyway. 3310.
She had it in last 10 years still.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know. Yeah, went to a festival on a Thursday, came back on a Monday, and it was still charged. Not one charge, perfect.
It was I used a Nokia like that for festivals. Leave my good phone behind. I was like, just switched my SIM card. I was like, right, this is my festival phone because
I do that still.
A, if I lose it, I don't give a shit, and B, it lasts all weekend.
I don't take my iPhone to the pub because you know what I'm like. I just, I've got a little burner. I've got loads of little burners.
No, I'm not.
Plus, also, you don't want evidence of what goes on at the pub.
No, exactly. But yeah, you remember Phone Biggie? I'm not talking about the one down the street in the phone box.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember because when I worked on the cruise ship, we had to take everything with us, like a video camera, your phone, your iPod, fucking everything. When you
lived there, didn't you? You lived on the boat.
Yeah, so now when we came shoreside, which was 2008, and I started working in pubs, everything started to reduce then. So I think I had an iPhone 3 or 4. I can't remember which one I had. It was when I used to jailbreak it because I hated the fact that if you had an iPhone, you were stuck with everybody having the same looking phone.
iOS,
Yeah, and I just wanted to have that bit of individuality.
It's got a lot better recently. So it's quite. You can change a lot on an iOS device nowadays.
Back then you couldn't.
No, you couldn't have fuck all, could you?
I was well into jailbreaking. That's when I managed to get Final Fantasy VII running on my iPhone.
Yeah, I've been there, mate.
So cool.
You still didn't finish it, did you?
Yeah, no. But I think one of my favourites was either the Motorola Razr.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were really cool looking phones. And they were so compact.
You've got to remember, they're back.
As well.
They're back and they're only 1,300 quid.
But I thought they were sweet. But for me, the biggest change was the Xperia phones with a camera.
Really good cameras,
and I think the quality of the camera, the difference when you used to have your old shitty, I was going to say blurry kind of photos that you used to take.
It was a VGA camera,
phone.
It wasn't even a megapixel.
And then all of a sudden, when you just get that step up and you suddenly have these incredible professional looking photographs you're taking in the pub, you're like, yes.
I remember when I got the LG Beauty, which was
I fucking hated that. It was
awful, but it had a 2 megapixel camera on the back, and I was taking photos and I used to say there's something wrong with this. I thought there was something wrong with it. It was just really good quality, and I didn't realise how ugly I was. And I was like, this is really good. And I remember going back to Carphone Warehouse and saying, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this anymore. And it's like, what's wrong? And I had to think of an excuse on the fly, and I was like, screen's too big. It was like a 3-inch screen. Do you know what I mean? It's so.
But the thing is, everything is now compact onto your smartphone. And just referencing back again to how you used to carry everything with you. Now, your smartphone. I've got a S21 Ultra.
Of course you have. You're that guy.
And it's got everything I need on it. It's incredible. Yeah. It's I just walk around with that. It does everything I need.
It's mad that on a phone now you could start a podcast, record a podcast, edit a podcast. And release all on that platform. You could literally do what we're doing now. I mean, the edit would be shit, wouldn't it, Gadget? It'd be done. You could do it. But yeah, I just find that. I mean, I like that I'm in that industry. I'd like to get paid more, but I like that I'm in that industry because it's fascinating. And the things I see, some of the stuff that come into our shop, it could be on Dickinson's Real Deal. I've seen some absolute antiques, and you don't realize how much touchscreen technology has got so much better. Like someone came in with a touchscreen the other week. I'd never even heard of this phone. It must have been some clone phone, but it wasn't a capacitive touchscreen. You could only touch it with one.
It was resistive.
Yeah, you could only touch it with one digit at a time. And I was like, what's happening? I can't fucking type. It was infuriating. And now I couldn't even think of a phone that didn't have a touchscreen. Do you know what I mean? Like you can buy. I remember when BlackBerry were in bed with Android for a while, weren't they? And you could have the big, full QWERTY keyboard and a nice touchscreen. Like, why would you use the keyboard nowadays?
I think the biggest bugbear I have with modern-day phones is just the battery. Because they're designed to do everything you want them to do, but the battery can't do everything you want it to do.
You expect a lot out of them, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, it's every time they put a bigger battery in or a better battery in, they put more features in.
Yes. That's bring back the Nexus phones where it was bare.
I've just found the ultimate terrible phone from the early 2000s, and I'm actually going to share my screen so you can all remember this one. Who remembers the Siemens Zalibri?
Siemens Zalibri. Oh shit! Yes,
shaped like a woman's compact.
Yeah, like
with a
foundation
mirror in the middle of it.
This is when Candy says, "I had that as well."
Yeah, no, I did not have that.
Well, hang on, that's the one that Candy had, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Nokia 7280.
That is fucking horrendous. Some of them, yeah,
But yeah,
Look at that. It's like a shit lightsaber.
not even that.
Yeah, Siemens Zalibri 6, which is shaped like a compact to go in your handbag. It's got a little mirror in the middle of it when you open the clamshell.
They didn't think of ergonomics, did they?
One of my customers had one of those fold-up ones the other day.
The
you know, that you can actually.
Samsung
it's the
Flip.
weirdest thing. Yeah, I didn't want to touch it.
Yeah.
She's like, you can literally fold it whenever you want. I'm like,
I'm not touching it.
I want a folding phone, but I want to give it a few generations, like a few years
when
before
they first released that
before
phone.
they get a bit thin.
Mate,
So they get a bit thinner.
There was that video where that man went to
Straight away.
beach with his and it just became a sand castle, his phone. It was just covered in sand. It's like, you can't get sand out of the fold at all.
Yeah, I want to give it a bit of time before they kind of
It will
nail
be.
it.
It will be the second it's going to hit, and I hate to say it, and I'm very phone agnostic. The second Apple do a folding phone, that's when it'll hit. That's when everyone will start doing it because
Apple do a folding phone, and then all the Apple fanboys will be like, "Oh, look at this! It's amazing!
this
It's
for 10 years."
inventive." And then Samsung will be like, "What?
it happens all the
It's
time.
like
though, mate.
4 years
It
now."
happens all the time when they got wireless charging. It's like they had it on the
Yeah.
Nexus 4 in 2013.
Or when they got widgets, it's like, "Oh, you can put widgets
Yeah.
on your iPhone now." It's like, "Oh wow, I could do that 10 years ago."
Yeah, my last bit of advice is don't get an iPhone 12 mini. It's too small.
That's why one of the reasons I kind of went off Apple anyway. I really don't like not being able to have my own. I just don't like the standard.
Some people don't. Yeah, I get it.
It's just
I usually swap and change, but I couldn't.
Like my phone's got I've got like a thing on it. What's it called?
What phone have you got?
Galaxy S10 Plus something. It's a big boy comes with
It's
a
old
little,
now, that pal. Come on.
comes with a thingy, a stylus and everything.
Stylus.
I love the stylus. It's good for
Yeah, I've got one.
Yeah,
for
they,
you.
they are really good
quick,
styluses on them.
Photoshops. Well, I'm keeping it because there's nothing out that I want. The only thing that seems to upgrade these days is that I'm bothered about is the camera,
Yeah.
and this has a quality camera on anyway.
Yeah, it does.
so
It is still a great phone.
I'd rather just pay £10 a month for an unlimited contract and keep this phone for the time being.
Oh, you're breaking my heart.
Nova Launcher I've got on mine, so I've got Nova Launcher on, which means I can kind of
Edit
Change
about,
the-
yeah.
I can change the grid styles, how many icons I have. I can then install different looking icons.
Packs, yeah.
So mine's got like kind of these neon. It's a bit like our color scheme.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like my icons are kind of based on that and stuff. So yeah, I just enjoy being able to edit and play around with it, but
Yeah, I was the
without
same.
having to jailbreak it.
Yeah. Turning it into a
Like,
banana phone.
Yes, because
As soon as you got an
just do that.
update, it was like, fuck, I've got to jailbreak it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I just couldn't do this technology segment without just honouring the thing that you're probably listening to this podcast on. People forget how important they are to our lives. The world is drastically smaller nowadays due to us phones, and we got through. Well, we're not through it yet, but we lockdowns and stuff like that. I don't think a lot of us could have got through it without us phones. They're a massive, especially as I said, in the last 10 years. It's just so much easier to do absolutely everything, and God love them. You know what I mean? They're incredible bits of kit. But
They haven't made me any smarter, though.
no, they make you dumber, unfortunately. But let's move on to Candy. I want to know what this is.
Well, I'm going to go with 3D printers. And now, so 3D printing on an industrial level has surprisingly been around since the 80s, but it's only been available for affordable like home and hobby use since about 2010. And it's really exploded in the last 5 years. So I'm talking slightly more specifically about at-home 3D printing.
Yeah, the little
and
plastic
also,
ones and stuff.
Yeah, and the range of things that you actually, like the materials that you can 3D print with now as well.
Mm.
So in 2009, the first commercially available 3D printer was offered for sale. And within the next couple of years, sort of hundreds of 3D printing companies released their own versions, bringing the average price of reliable 3D printers down to under $1,000. So I have to admit, watching things being 3D printed is one of my guilty pleasures.
incredible.
Whenever I need to wind down, or if my head's in just all over the place, watch something on YouTube being
I watched
3D
one other
printed.
day. Oh, I was just about to blurt out what it was, but it was a dildo. I watched it 3D printed, and it had like.
Why am I not surprised?
Because I didn't know you could do like resins and stuff like that rather than plastic, and I was like, "Whoa!" And then he picked it up, plonked it on his hand, and went, "Look at the wobble on this." I was like, "Wow, the future."
So you've probably done the same as me, just absolutely fallen down a 3D printing rabbit hole.
Loads of times. It's incredible to watch.
It's so interesting. And so from watching these videos, it sort of led me on to 3D printing artists and cosplayers. In particular, there's one lady called Lightning Cosplay. She's a creator from Germany. She predominantly uses 3D printing to create props and costumes and stuff. And if you get a chance to look at her YouTube channel, you'll find she's made among many, many things, but my favorite, she's created this fully functional mantis blade from Cyberpunk. So she's made the kind of
comes out her arm,
silicon arm. Yeah, and it actually like fully flicks out and everything. It's absolutely immense. And she's made a Tesla rifle from Fallout as well with fully moving parts. The only thing it doesn't do is actually shoot people. It's just the most amazing
Which
thing.
I have seen horror stories of plastic bullets.
I think you can...
Which is extremely illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal to print.
But it's good for Magneto in X-Men,
guns.
Isn't it? Remember that?
That's what they have to use, isn't it? Plastic bullets.
Plastic bullets to stop Magneto.
So for some users, 3D printing's in.
If people remember X-Men too.
But yeah, from an artist's perspective, some of the pieces created are just incredible. There's a sculptor called Jonty Hurwitz, and he makes these tiny anatomically correct tiny details, tiny models, and they're so small they can literally sit on a human hair, and they have to be viewed with a microscope, and they'll sit on a little ant's forehead.
Wow,
just the most adorable thing. A researcher at Israel's Institute of Technology have recreated in 3D some of MC Escher's kind of visual paradox sketches. Yeah. So the ones that don't make sense, and they've done that in 3D.
Like the ladders, the stairs that constantly going round and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And like the 3-story building that he's kind of done. And you look at it from one angle, it doesn't work. And then with a 3D print, you can actually rotate it, and it does the exact same thing. I
was watching the other week a perpetual motion machine that they created on a 3D printer, which once you set something moving, it's like similar to those them 5 balls that psychiatrists have. And they did that.
Newton's cradle.
Yeah,
one of those. It was perpetual motion. It's a shape, and it's just, I don't know what the name of it. It's got a name, and if you place it down on a flat surface, it won't stop rolling. But it won't roll in a straight line. It just rolls. And it will never stop.
Very Inception.
It's Google it. It's a perpetual motion shape. I can't remember what it's got a really stupidly long name. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, so I'm just going to reel out some of my most favourite things
that you've printed off.
That I've literally printed myself, and I've got them here with me. No, so I do wish I had a 3D printer though, but I'm afraid the cat would destroy it. So in 2014, a Turkish student called Deniz Karasahin created an alternative to a plaster cast for when you've broken a bone, called the osteoid. And essentially it kind of looks like this metal as fuck kind of spider web going around your arm or whatever bone you've broken. So it's much lighter to start off with. It's more breathable because it is just like a mesh.
You won't get a knitting needle like stuck down it when you're scratching your arm. Mm-hmm. That's what I did when I had a pot on.
Exactly. So you can wash through it as well, which is nice.
And your mate writes wanker on it.
They won't have enough space to write wanker on it unless it's super tiny. Get that original 3D printing artist I told you to 3D print wanker in it tiny. But the really cool part of it is it actually incorporates ultrasonic technology in it as well. So it sends vibrations to the bones. So you plug yourself in for 20 minutes, sends vibrations to the bones, and it can increase the speed of healing by about 40%.
I was watching a thing about this.
Could do with that
A spiritualist saying that vibration's one of the keys to healing and natural vibrations. It went a bit wild because spiritualist stuff does if you laid down during an earthquake, you'd heal. I was like, no, you wouldn't. You'd die.
Well, it depends what lands on you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he was talking.
Pillow.
He was talking about vibration being real, micro vibrations and stuff like that.
I can't get up when I lie down at the moment with my injury, so that'd be fucking good.
Yeah.
You need one of
I
these
think it has
weaves
to
over
be
your
a
chest.
specific-
I know, I do. Yeah, a chest plate weave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not just any vibration. So don't try looking in your top drawer or anything. It has to be a certain
your top
wavelength,
drawer
I think.
Yeah, my top drawer, yeah.
Actually, now I've had an ultrasound. I broke my tailbone, and they had to get the lube and everything.
Oh, I bet
and
they did.
use this little ultrasonic machine. It's the most embarrassing thing I've been. No, it's not. I've been through terribly embarrassing things, but it was bad. Another one, a YouTuber called Dieter Michael Crone, sorry. He's made this paper aeroplane cannon. So he 3D
course
printed
he
the
has.
gun part of it, and it both folds the paper, and it'll then fire it out the end, and it can make up to 120 paper aeroplanes per minute.
That would have been so
So
good when
literally
I
just
were at
like-
school because I could never make a paper aeroplane.
Yeah, mine was shit as well.
It might have been handy, but this thing was probably over a meter long,
That's
so
fine.
you might not have got it in your school bag.
It's fine.
And
I'd have worked out. I'd have,
Bazooka.
yeah, bazooka.
it does look like a bazooka. But yeah, it just looks like a flock of birds kind of flying out.
Wow.
And then a physicist, father and son team created a full-size road-ready Lamborghini
What?
for less than $20,000. They had to use, so it was, the majority of it was 3D printed. Obviously, there were some elements of it that they had to use original parts for, but the main bulk of it was 3D printed. There's one called Beauty, a bald eagle. Was shot in the face by poachers, and she had the top part of her beak completely sort of broken off. So she would
I've
have,
seen this one. Yeah.
she would have died. And an eagle specialist called Jane Cantwell partnered up with a mechanical engineer called Nate Calvin, and they created a nylon polymer beak to replace the part that had been broken. So once the replacement beak was installed, she was actually able to eat, drink, and kind of preen herself on her own. So essentially, it did save her
That
life.
story's incredible. The fact that there's even an eagle specialist. It's like, how the fuck do you study that at school? What's your major? Eagles.
She was actually just a massive music fan, and they got the wrong idea. Just sort of fell into
Oh,
it.
shit.
Well, their second album.
Yeah. it's just
Anyway, here's
wild,
a
isn't
beak.
it, that? That's so good. It's got. I love the medical like aspects of these 3D printers. Like it's like they're like pacemakers and stuff like that. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's so much more easily available now, and they'll make like little sort of walking, like walkers for dogs and stuff as well. It's
Oh
adorable.
yeah, when they've got
for
the hind
lame
legs
dogs.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you can also have pearls and diamonds at the American Pearl Company. It's called. They're available to be designed and printed on site. So it's not just diamond-shaped resin; it's actual diamonds and actual pearls you can have printed there.
It's just crushed material, isn't it? Crushed rock.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so
wouldn't
it's-
that make the value of it fuck all if it's
You would
if
think,
it's mass
wouldn't you?
produced? Because that's why
Yeah.
diamonds are so expensive, because it's a finite resource, and you have to wait a millennia
Flawless, isn't it?
for it to be created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
I
wild.
wonder if there is a difference in
There has
price.
to be.
I didn't
It's
actually.
like that fake diamond, like cubic zirconia and stuff like that. It's like fake diamond, isn't it? But they still sell it at stupid prices because it looks like it.
It's crushed down with carbon, isn't it?
Yeah,
Diamond.
I think it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
But it takes like thousands of years. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's a good. I might have a look at that. So the next one, this is a good one. Researchers from the University of Wollongong in Australia have developed a 3D bioprinter that can replicate human ears. That's capable of hearing even better than a normal ear.
Whoa.
It used
I
stem
need one of
cells.
those.
Yeah, it used stem cells to grow a human ear cartilage.
And how much do
using
these cost? Because
3D
we can use
printing.
as Patreon money for Biggie.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, good point. Yeah,
Get Biggie an ear. That's a new tier.
just one. the ear tier.
But we'll make it really
That's a
big
good
like
one.
Prince Charles on one side.
It
Just stick it
works,
to your
but I just look
headphones.
like a dick.
Please send fan out of that, listeners.
And then we got my personal favourite. So NASA have funded a startup company called BHEX to create 3D printable pizza.
I'm into that.
The-
I'm massively into that.
Yeah, give me that.
What?
Yeah, sign me up, right?
Yeah.
So the purpose of the invention, obviously, is to create a way for astronauts to produce food on longer missions, such as potential missions to Mars, I think, is the end goal. And the printer can create specific flavours, toppings and shapes, and
And
because
delivery won't go
No,
that
they
far.
won't.
they'll be out of business.
Yeah, they will.
Getting to the point of replicators. Here.
Imagine that, though. We've just got past the asteroid belt now. Is my calzone printed? Gagging for that.
By the time they get to Mars, they're just all like absolutely huge.
Yeah, they're just
all they've been eating is pizza for the last couple of years.
It's like on Wall-E,
Spots.
where they're all just on them floating things. It's like, yeah, we can grow potatoes on Mars. Yeah, what's the point? We don't need to. We've got fucking calzones that we can print.
We can have chips as well now.
Oh, wow, I'm into it. Massively into it.
So, because we don't actually have any planned missions to Mars till the 30s, it's probably going to end up in theme parks and stuff before that.
It's
So,
still fucking cool, though, isn't it?
yeah, super cool. I wonder if it tastes any. Like, I don't actually understand how it's being 3D printed.
They
'cause I don't
usually
know.
use like plant fibers, don't they, to create
I think that must be the
tofu and
case.
stuff. Do you know that stuff that they make the fake meats and food with?
Yeah.
It's fascinating, but obviously the people with the really strong palates can tell a difference. But I doubt I would when I've fucked off my head. Do you know what I mean?
Or if you've been in space for 10 years.
Oh well, yeah. I'm already
I
tall.
can't remember what it tastes like.
3D print me a kebab.
Absolutely. Imagine that. Imagine. Oh, that's so good.
Get shit faced in space and then go round to the next module for a kebab.
God.
Speaking of which, 3D printing, our own DM sorted something out for us as well, didn't
did.
he?
Is that
Yeah.
what that was? That 3D printed? Those little.
Yeah, so
goofers?
the characters are created for Scorched sheep.
That's so
As
cool.
a gift for you all when we met up. They were created with color 3D printing, which is relatively new at a consumer level. And so most of the time, like there's loads of places like Hero Forge and that where you've been able to like design your characters and have them as like 3D printed.
Yeah.
This is one of the first ones that does it in color. And rather than painting them, it's 3D plastic injection.
The one you done for
That's
mine.
really
The one you
cool.
done for mine is so fucking cute. I love it.
Excellent. So good.
I have some colored
If-
3D printed stuff.
Yeah, but it's still relatively new and not that common, which is why it costs a bit more. If you look at the Scorched sheep Twitter, you'll see pictures of what they look
So
like.
cute.
Yeah.
I love them.
Look,
So I got all 4 characters created.
I've shown
That
you
was
a pic-
actually the inspiration for my idea this evening as well. So thank you for that.
Because you were looking around the room going, technology,
Yeah,
technology,
fuck.
technology.
Yeah,
Ah!
half hour ago.
this is one of my favourite little
Oh, the-
3D
yeah.
models.
look
your
at
Hornet.
him.
The Hornet. Yeah, and then also I got the goose, a goose from Untitled Goose.
Yeah.
Game. This is all like
What's
shit
he
I
got in
bought
his
when I was- I'm
mouth?
gonna- it's a little wrench because it's got
Oh, he's
it's got
nicked
a
that.
little. They've put a magnet underneath so you can attach stuff for him to steal.
That's
So
cool.
he's stolen a little Allen key. This one here, this is special. This is a wheelie bin that Cowgirls Moo sent me for my birthday.
Oh, and that's 3D
Because
printed.
because I made a joke about saying I could do one of those little bins for my desk, and this turned up randomly, and it had a little bottle of whiskey inside it.
Oh, what
Oh,
darling.
I use it, to put shit in
Bogus.
on my desk. No, that's little dime bars.
Oh,
So yeah,
Wow.
I use it all the time on my desk. Like just fill it full of crap and then
oh
put it
it's
in
so
the bin.
cute.
Actually, coincidentally, on topic with yours, Oodles, is one of my friends made me, because I use my phone for taking photos of the tattoos that I do, so
Yeah.
it really has to be a good camera. But what I used before, I've got a S21 Ultra as well, so I've got all the,
Look at your steampunk
regular-
case that you've got. It's like you're in the Matrix.
yeah, boy, I'm ready. But because I used to use a polarizing lens on the front of my old phone, which it was specifically made for phones,
Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't fit on this one. So I had to buy an actual polarizing lens for a camera, and he 3D printed me a lens holder, which is threaded, but it also fits onto the front of my
That's so
case as
cool.
well, so I can just flit it. Yeah, it's the most
Nice.
incredible thing. I told him he ought to go into business making those because so many tattooists would really like
Yeah.
it. But yeah, it's an actual 60mm lens that I use, so it's a proper camera one.
Wow.
But finally, before we move on, I got one for friend of the show, Super Natty Cat. Sorry, lads.
Oh, no.
Somebody's also
3D printed
printed a
Oh, no.
3D printed a tampon magazine.
Catcher.
What, like a gun clip
Yep.
for those very heavy weeks?
Yeah, well, yeah, you know how it goes.
No, I don't.
Lunar cycles are terrible.
What is it? She feels it's coming on. She said, sorry, love, I'll just be right back. And she walks to the bathroom and all he hears is...
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
Like,
dun, dun,
like an
dun.
Uzi. There we go. Nothing's coming out of there for a while. I don't know how women work.
Oh no!
9mm.
I don't know how this. I don't know why you're all werewolves and it to do with the moon and stuff like that. Don't understand women. You're scary. You frighten me. Stop it.
I apologise for all
It's
women.
just as well you don't have a daughter than oh wait.
Oh, shit. Yeah, as if I'm the one to go to be having these talks with them. Do you know what I mean? This
Gotta
darling.
be prepared for when she reaches that age.
No, I'll just blindly ignore what's happening, like most dads do.
She won't let you.
What was that? Dad, I'm trying to. What?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, not down for that shit. I don't leak, and I know about that. That's fine.
Not from that end, anyway. You're pretty snotty this evening.
I am very snotty this evening.
God.
That's all I know. But we'll move on from that
Swiftly.
to another person that doesn't leak. Stig.
Wow. I'll bring it back a bit more
I don't know if I can
wholesome.
keep that in the
Am I going
edit
to get
or
kicked
not.
off the internet for that? Bleep
You might
it
get
out.
kicked off the internet for that one.
Make it funny.
I was just using it as a socials clip.
I mean, it may also be the socials clip. It may be the last one Oodles ever does.
Yeah. With a big boycott and I get cancelled. I've always wanted to be that big that I get cancelled.
Oh wow! Right, well, I am going to talk about the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
So nothing massive or tech giant E thing or anything. Just a simple, wholesome little console
It is, isn't it?
released by Nintendo in 2017. It retailed at $279.99, which was a nice little price for it.
I think it's still reasonable, that.
Yep, the Nintendo Switch is Nintendo's follow-up to the Wii U, and it was
The Vita.
it's basically a tablet, isn't it? With
It's
two
a
little
tablet.
tablet with two little Joy-Cons on the end that you can detach if you want to dock it and play it on your TV, or if you want to put it on the little stand for whatever reason and play it holding the Joy-Cons. I don't think I've ever played it like that.
No. I think it is a tablet. I think it's like based on the Tegra 2 or something like that. It's
It's a Tegra 2 chip.
Yeah, it literally is a tablet with some sticks on the side.
Yeah, but this is a Nintendo console that they dared to be different again. It's a massive gamble after the failing of the Wii U, but it fucking paid off for them. Do you know what I mean? When I didn't think much of this when they first announced it.
That video when they're all playing basketball and stuff like that, and house parties. I've still never taken a Switch to an house party.
I know. I thought, what are they doing with that ad?
Yeah, I mean, I've got it here. I was making some notes for it. It generally delivered on gaming that fits around your life. So, you can
Sat
play
in
it
the
on the
house.
sofa, in the bed, in the garden, at work,
Toilet.
on the loo, or at a rooftop party with cool hipsters.
Yeah. Thing is, I don't get invited to the parties.
Can we just get like a polling of the listeners to see if anyone has ever taken it to a sexy rooftop party?
Yeah.
Their hipster
One of
friends.
those
Or a
parties.
I mean, the
Basketball- or a
advert's not going to
basketball
show
cart.
someone having a dump,
And
are
we're
they?
talking about parties where they're not having cans of Fosters, they're having old fashions and mojitos. And,
Yeah.
and there's like wood,
There's like fairy lights
there's
everywhere.
wood burners and stuff, and everyone's like, "Hey man, just been at work, and it's oh my god, my 4-hour days are too long." At the tech
Come on,
company.
everyone gather around my tiny tablet, and everyone
play
here's
some
4
NBA
controls for you all.
2K11. Come on, guys.
Oh look, you've got a Switch. We can hook them up together. Look, and now we can play it together.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean that stuff's all pretty great that you can do that, but no one does that.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who plays their Switch.
I've
like
never
that.
played it with
Oh.
anyone else.
I haven't even been
You just play
outside.
Dragon Quest on yours.
Yeah, exactly. It's a portable Dragon Quest machine.
But yeah, I just think that in the midst of these high tech consoles like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox, they're trying to throw out the best graphics and speeds and everything they could at the time for consoles. Nintendo were just like, no, we're going to do something completely different. We're going to make a handheld console, and it's going to be absolutely incredible and easy to use and accessible for all ages.
I'll say it.
Very quickly, I genuinely thought they were going down the Sega route. I thought they were done for when they announced it.
Everyone did.
After the
I
Wii U,
literally
I
that.
thought
Everyone did, mate.
that just bombed, and then they came out with this idea, and I honestly was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, mate.
Like,
I was same.
it wasn't for me at the time, because I tell you what, as good as the Vita was and how much people liked it,
Which officially failed.
I bought one with my PS4. I thought, next gen this. I've got my PS4, I've got my Vita,
Yeah, I can stream games.
and I barely use my Vita. If I'm being honest, for
Because
whatever
you don't play
reason, I just-
JRPGs, and that's all they add on that system.
yeah, it just didn't click for me. And I thought, Nintendo consoles are handheld. I was like, I mean, I did like my DS,
Yeah, I did, but you got cramp playing it.
Yeah, but this, like, when I, the good word of mouth, hearing about it on podcasts and stuff, and I was just like, oh, sod it, I'm going to get one. And yeah, it's been fantastic. It's something that welcomes and encourages innovation and good ideas as well. So obviously, big budget games, they're like huge investments for companies, but they tend to play it safe. So you got this handheld, and it's lower powered, compared to the big boy consoles. But games can be released quicker on it. Studios can explore genres and game types, and that are often overlooked on bigger platforms.
Yeah, man.
So it's become a massive indie machine for many people.
Yeah.
So it's brought so many indies to people and to the forefront that
mainly because they're the most affordable games on that system. That's why.
Yeah, but something I think like
they got The Witcher 3 running on it.
Yeah, yeah. Black magic that.
Don't worry. So Paradise Killer, I've not played that yet, but that was a lot of game of the year for a lot of people, and I don't think it came out on anything other than the Switch.
PC.
No, it was out on PC as well.
It's a bit that's
it's irrelevant. Everything's on PC, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
for Mario.
It's also because like the reason why the Switch indie scene has worked so well is that game engines like Unity work really well with the Switch chipset. Like porting a game from PC to Switch in a lot of cases, especially when these 2D games or games that aren't particularly graphically intensive, it's super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Is it cheaper to license a game for Switch as well? Is Nintendo license cheaper than it is for like your big boys?
As far as I'm aware, yes. Because
that makes sense for indies, doesn't it? You got to get a license for the console, so.
Yeah, because when you put something through for like PlayStation 5 or Xbox, you have to pay like thousands for authentication. Yeah. You have to pay for every patch that you put through. So much as we joke about like Battlefield, like. EA will be hemorrhaging money getting that going because the amount of patches,
especially because Biggie didn't pay for
it. Well, yeah,
somebody did though.
Somebody did.
Yeah.
But
it's the Switch works well as an indie machine just because stuff like Unity and Unreal and a lot of the kind of those third party really the free game engines work so well with the Tegra chipset.
Yeah.
But like, look at something like Hollow Knight. Take that as an example.
It's the best example.
That had been out on PC for 13 months before the Switch, and it wasn't until it launched on the Switch that it started to blow up.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people started to like.
I thought it was a Switch game. I thought it literally was.
Things are on the PC, but there's a massive barrier to get a decent gaming PC.
Yeah.
It's not a machine under £300 if you want to, if you want at least a few years out of your machine. So the Switch just kind of offered up things like that. So you've got other ones like for me, it's like. For Greece, and then others I know, Undertale, Celeste, Stardew Valley, Untitled Goose Games. I mean, these are on other machines, but they didn't get the same traction.
No, they didn't.
As they did on the Switch. I'd argue that they definitely didn't. And also, obviously, you get Nintendo games.
Yeah, you can't get them anywhere else.
You can't get anywhere else. Like Nintendo have some absolutely amazing exclusives, and this thing, its first year launched with Breath of the Wild, considered one of the greatest games of all time. And Mario Odyssey,
which
is an absolutely amazing Mario game.
Two flawless gems.
Absolute bangers. And the updated Mario Kart Deluxe, and all of them look absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they do. They know what they're doing, don't they? They understand it fully.
I remember the first time I used a Switch. It was when, funnily enough, when a friend of mine was helping me upgrade my PC.
Yeah.
And he was like the day after the Switch had come out, and he'd been at the midnight launch, and he brought it with him. And I remember he took it out of his bag, and I thought, "Fuck me, that's small," because I had a Wii U at the time as well, and like I knew how big the gamepad was, and I expected it to be around that size. And he brought it, and like I'm playing Breath of the Wild, and it's one of those things I'm playing it in handheld, watching look how good it is, and then just kind of like turning the Switch around, going, it can't be right. This isn't real. Because at that point, like the Vita had really good graphics, and some games on the iPad had really good graphics, but there was nothing like that in a handheld form. And then he brought the dock with him. He set it up on me TV, and he just like literally just dropped it in. Then pop, it was up on the screen. It was just like, oh shit, this is really good.
It's pretty instant, isn't it? As well.
Yeah, the quick
just check you can get Crash Team Racing on there as well.
Yeah, you can do, but no one bought that. Not like the millions of copies of Mario Kart Deluxe that everyone bought. But the Switch has sold, I think it's something like 98 million units. It's incredible, like what the units that they've shifted on this. And it became quite a a big commodity, didn't it, for many people the last couple of years with lockdown and people looking for a bit of escapism.
Animal Crossing, especially.
The Switch was just perfect for that. Yeah, and stuff like Animal Crossing was perfect for it. It's not my cup of tea, but I know that people just, delve straight
You could
into
literally
that,
go on holiday on it, which people couldn't do.
Yeah, but you could. The good thing about it is that you don't have to be sat at your sofa on watching the TV.
Yeah.
You can just take this wherever you want to go, and
Especially on the Lite as well, because I had that for a long time before I got the big one. And that was ergonomically, it's one of the best handhelds you can get.
It just made me think that the sales must have gone up for the Switch as well, because people are struggling to get hold of a PS5 or a Series X. And I guess if people are really fed up and haven't got one, they could probably just, go for a Switch.
I mean, they've just launched, obviously, the new OLED version, which is a bit of a prettier screen and a few minor tweaks, but nothing major.
Not worth getting a new one if you've already got one, in my opinion.
What I find so impressive about it as well is what Biggie's already alluded to was, no one's really buying a Switch for these games, but they've managed to get these huge games like The Witcher 3, Skyrim,
on a cartridge.
Eternal, on a cartridge.
It's mind-boggling.
On this tiny little console, and it's just incredible. It's an amazing piece of machinery.
It really.
It's probably one of the best consoles that's ever been released, in my opinion.
I think hands down still, and the gamers are going to kick off. I still think it is the best console you can get currently.
Probably is, to be honest, just because
pound for pound, you've got to think of it as a package.
Like the huge library you can get on there as well. And I know Nintendo kind of take the piss with their online stuff, but
who cares?
If you've got the nostalgic view of some of these older games, some of them are on there as well for you to get. There are issues with it. We all know that. We all know there's no Bluetooth connectivity.
It doesn't have Netflix.
There's no, there is
Bluetooth connectivity
recently.
Yeah, but it didn't launch with it. At that
and it
point,
is bad.
It should have just launched with the ability to connect Bluetooth headphones to it.
Yeah.
The online Nintendo just
non-existent.
Horrendous at. It's non-existent. It's awful. But as a machine itself, outside of Nintendo's online failings, machine is absolutely incredible. And yeah, it's so many games that I've played on that I don't think I would have bothered with if I didn't have the Switch and the ability to take it into the rec room and at the office and just sit there and play it on my lunch hour. That's
you took it to work?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
One of my other jobs, I just go and sit in the little kind of canteen lunch, sitting area. I just sit and play Hollow Knight for half an hour.
And they called you Nintendo Stew.
No, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, no, you don't.
I enjoy doing it, yeah. What I tend to do at work, read or play my Switch, but yeah, I've played it on the train, taken it on a plane, played it in the backseat of a car. Can't do that with all the other consoles. Can't play
planes, trains, and automobiles.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, it's a magic bit of kit, and yeah, it definitely needs. I think it's the most original in a long, long time. Just and it's such a simple thing, isn't it? It's
the thing is, they've been doing the same thing all their life. You remember the Game & Watch stuff? It's literally an evolution of that, which is what they brought out in the 80s in some way.
They're a toy company. They're going to keep bringing out these toys.
It's incredible.
You can't fault them for invention. The Wii. The Wii was something completely brand new, and it took the world by storm, really, because it was just new and different.
Yeah,
But yeah, obviously, massive feelings with the Wii U. They launched this new thing that was a tablet, and like Gadget already said, the Wii U had that tablet, and it was a bit like, oh no, they're doing it again. But they knew what they were doing this time.
Pay it off. What do you think they'll do next?
No fucking idea, because
Wild,
the Switch
innit?
is so fucking good.
Yeah.
The only thing I can suggest is just an upgraded, better graphics.
Yeah, that's all I can think.
Yeah, I think this will be the first time they do a Switch, a console too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a Switch too. Like you've had your PS2s, PS3s.
If they were clever, I think that's what they should definitely do.
A new generation, better graphics. Eventually, we'll just phase out. Yeah, we'll just phase out.
They've inspired Steam as well and Valve, haven't they, to do their own at the end of the day.
The Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, which absolutely won't hit as hard as this. Nothing will. I think that was proper.
Well, no, cost-wise as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but catering to a different audience as well.
Yes.
They are, but it's just the same kind of thing, though, isn't it? It's that mobility of.
But you can play your Steam library, and if you're clever with it, you could probably get Game Pass running on it, so you can play those really high graphical games on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Surely Nintendo are looking at like their next, the next.
I think they've got
evolution of the
their
Switch.
next 50 years planned, mate. I think they're a very clever bunch of people.
I can't see them going back to just under the telly console.
Nope.
No, I don't.
can't
Doesn't make
see it,
any
mate.
sense. So yeah,
And it's proven they didn't need to.
yeah. The Switch, absolutely amazing bit of kit.
Excellent. Good pick, mate. And I want to know, inside that bulging sack that we've got, what everyone else picked. I want to know what the listeners have been mulling about in the minds.
Well, we're going to start off with Adam Golightly.
He's a big nerd.
He's massive nerd. He says, loads spring to mind right away. Xbox, Alexa, Nest heating and Hue lighting, AirPods, Mac Mini, DJI Mini 2.
He's got them all in his house.
But to pick a favourite, I'd probably go for the iPhone 6. Obviously, it wasn't just a phone, and I've picked it for everything you could do. Hang on. Obviously, it wasn't just a phone, and I've picked it for everything you could do now with it. From online banking, Apple Pay, an endless supply of music from the likes of Spotify to social media, and yes, you could say that most smartphones could do the same at the time, but I personally love iOS and Apple's design. Now, sure, every iPhone since has been their most powerful iPhone yet, but the 6 for me was probably the first phone where if I left home without it, I'd have felt lost.
Can you guess what he does for a living as well?
Work for Apple?
No.
No, I don't.
Oodles boss.
Terrestrial Extra says it's got to be Bluetooth headphones for me. Can't count the amount of times I've busted wired ones when they got caught on things or then having to untangle the wire. Very frustrating. Apart from one instant where a pod fell in the toilet, my life has been much easier with Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I was so against Bluetooth headsets and earbuds for the longest time because I just thought, what's the point?
I'll always be
The battery will
charging
run
it.
out. You've always got to charge
Yeah.
them. You could lose them. But I won't fucking go back to wired ones now.
I was
No,
saying
mate,
with my
compare-
AirPods because I thought, I listen to podcasts so much on my phone and audiobooks and stuff, but they charge so fast. It's like
I've got these ones are not even like a top make, but they're really good.
They'll charge so
And
fast.
I'm allowed to listen to them in the office.
Mm.
I can just, if I have to get up and go to the printer, just keep the earbud in my ear, carry on listening, go there.
Well, I mean,
Don't have to have wires with me. I don't have to have wire dangling everywhere. I can freely roam. When I'm doing stuff around the house, I wear them and they're just not, the wire's not in the way. Yeah, I would never go back to
why?
wired.
I mean, cover your ears, Adam. But why do you think I'm growing my hair so I can keep them in my ears at work? No one will ever know
That you're
I'm
drunk.
drunk.
Tig says, on the same subject, the proliferation of noise-cancelling headphones has been the most important tech advancement for me. Noise isolation is not a new technology. With its origins in aviation, and even consumer headphones have been with us since the turn of the century. But over the past decade, we've seen insane competition and excellent cans from Sony, Bose, Sennheiser, and others. No longer will a crying baby make a short-haul flight the longest 2 hours of your life. You no longer have to suffer the inane babbling of office banter. Just slip in your active noise-cancelling headphones over your earlugs and escape into a cocoon of blissful sound. The AirPods Pro and
He's
other
not wrong.
ANC buds do a fine job, but if you want true escapism, you need the over-the-ear headphones.
Yes.
And
agree with that.
They are really. It is such a. I don't know how it works. Is it blocking sound coming in? I don't even understand how it works. I've heard them. Obviously, they're incredible.
So you've got passive noise cancelling, which is basically just stuffing up your ears, and so you can't hear anything.
That can't be good though.
No, it's not good. Active noise cancelling basically uses microphones in the headphones to listen to the audio around you and then filter it out.
That's
I
what
thought
these
that's
are
what
that
it
I've
did,
got
is-
on. They're
Yeah.
noise
So, like,
cancelling.
So fucking clever.
It's like I've got AirPods Pro, and I really like them for that. Like they're not perfect. They're not as good as if I
You
had
can
like.
still hear. You could hear a bus.
I could hear,
driving
I
past
could hear
you.
a car about to run me over or something like that. Well, it's great for like when I'm in the gym because it just cuts out all the music while I'm listening to podcasts or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've said before on this, I have sleep apnea, so I have to sleep with one of those breathing masks.
Which are noisy.
Yeah, they're not the noisiest thing in the world, but there is a sound there, and it kind of keeps me awake. So I put the AirPod Pros in with a bit of like ambient music in the background. Can't hear a thing. Straight to bed. Love it.
Don't they fall out when you're in the night?
They're really snug, those pros. They are snug.
The Pros are good, but also because I'm wearing a breathing mask, I can't really turn over in my sleep or anything, so I'm just lying on my back, so I'm not moving.
Yeah. He's not lying on his belly with them masks on, trust
I
me.
use a
Oh, no.
headband with a earphones in my bed.
For a while, I mean, I'm talking like maybe even more than a decade ago when they first came out. I had one of those where you plugged your iPod into your pillow and it made a noise. They are so noisy. when you squashed into it and your ears right at the spot, I was like, I can't get rid of this shit.
The problem with ANCs, though, is that you suddenly become self-aware of how you're breathing.
Yeah.
You suddenly feel like, oh my God, when I'm walking, and it's just like...
or crunching.
Darth Vader going for a jog.
John Cheatham has said, for me, firstly, it's the Switch.
Your boy.
Perfect console for a new dad and someone whose job usually involves a fair bit of travelling. Plus, the library is huge and it makes sense playing everything from tiny indies to Dark Souls itself on it. Plus, it was the launch console for one of the greatest games ever, Monster Hunter Rise.
Yes, boy.
Secondly, the explosion of over-the-top video content services. Sometimes it feels like there's too many to keep track of, but the choice you get is fantastic. The well-documented main complaint being the lack of classic movies, but for stuff from the past 20 years, not to mention exposure to films and TV from all over the world, it's incredible. Yeah, I just wish there was one kind of like aggregator service where you just paid one subscription. I would pay a £50 subscription to have access to everything.
Mm.
Well, we're paying more than that for all the others we've getting anyway.
Exactly. But just like, especially with the anti-consumer business practices, like, you know, like fucking Paramount Plus, taking Star Trek away from all of the services. Fuck you, Paramount.
That's just reminded me of a brilliant joke from the new South Park. I quickly mentioned that it's part of it's set in the future, and everywhere is called something plus. So it's like South Park Elementary plus, and like everything's like the store is called something Max Plus. Like it's all like Max and Plus everywhere.
Well, look forward to Modern Escapism Plus coming soon.
Leroy Francisco says, electric cars. I don't even have one, but it will be the next car we get. It's not even the environmental aspect that I like best either. It's the simplicity of electric car engine I find fascinating.
So you and Leroy are going to be bombing down
Silently.
Britain, silently, with those fake engine noises that you can choose.
Yeah. Futile Exercise says, although now the way of the dodo, one of my favourite texts from the past decade was 3D TVs. Said no one ever. But okay, we'll go with you, Futile.
I forgot about those.
No, he genuinely liked them.
Wow.
The film industry jumped on the 3D bandwagon as a money spinner after the hit of CGI Fern Gully remake Avatar back in 2009. And I was kind of taken with the novelty of the whole concept, stupid glasses aside. Took a few years before you could take the experience home at a reasonable cost. I don't think it was ever reasonable.
No.
So treated myself to a Pioneer Plasma, along with some fashionable active specs. Pioneer, fucking hell, remember when they made tellies?
Yeah, all that bleeding effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Embracing my new toy, I picked up many Blu-rays and all their 3D glory. That salesman fucking saw Futile coming, didn't they?
He did. You need 5 glasses. How many people live in your house? 4. You need 5 glasses, just in case.
As Sony was also in fully, I got to enjoy a fair few games on my PS3 in 3D too. Now, I must admit, there was quite a hit to the visuals in most, but thoroughly enjoyed ploughing through both Uncharted 3 and Killzone 3 in what seemed to be 360p glory.
Yeah, the snow effect in Killzone 3 was awesome.
Did it make the game good?
Yes.
Unfortunately, this was an all too brief affair, as the film industry seemed to kill it with oversaturation of shoddy post-3D conversions, and to be honest, it only really seemed to work well on CGI films by the likes of Pixar and Illumination.
Mm.
The final nail in the coffin was my plasma TV dying, which ended my brief sojourn peering into that heavy beast. Now down the line, that mantle started by the few games released supporting the format has been picked up and run by VR. Picked up and run with by VR is the actual sentence he wrote. I would say my Quest 2 has far surpassed what I could have imagined peering into that 3D window all those years ago. Long may it continue to do so in my flailing glory. See you in the metaverse. And he's finished off with, why Facebook? Why? This was such a meta.
You said it is behind your gadget.
I'll send the check along to Futile. The thing is, right? Okay, so Futile obviously
Throwing up on gadget.
You are dinner.
So that salesman saw Futile Exercise coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
The thing is, and what people didn't talk about well enough with 3D, there was one thing Sony did with the PlayStation, which I thought was cool as fuck, where you could have a PS3 on certain Sony tellies, and you could do split screen on the same screen with the 3D glasses.
Yes, you could.
And basically, you would sit, you
on the
sat
Bravias,
on the sofa.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was on the Bravias, and you would have the glasses on, and you would both see a different image.
Huh. Yeah.
So you never had to have like split screen down the middle, and you couldn't like see what the other.
The viewing
person was
angles
playing.
weren't strange either. Then,
Yeah.
No.
And I thought that was a really clever thing, and no one fucking developed it. I was only on like 5 games. I think it was like Gran Turismo 5 it was on or something like that.
they just gave me so much headache.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was very imperfect technology. Cool concept, but far too expensive and just not good enough.
When I watched it in the cinema, I just spent all my time just lifting my glasses up and down, going, "Is this meant to be in 3D? Is this like?" I was like, because so many of the games, so many of the films weren't filmed in 3D; they were just converted afterwards, and you could tell you'd be like, you just take off your glasses and go, "I could just watch this without my 3D glasses."
They used to do that. They used to do that
shit
that,
conversion
that trick where they used to make it look 3D by just going past the black bars, the fake black bars in the film.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, we know what you're doing. Them black bars aren't really there.
But it's also really weird now. Like if you watch on Netflix, like a film that was supposed to be like a big 3D film back in the day, the amount of times there's a shot of something coming straight towards the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Fucking
speaking of that, have a look at the Wheel of Time from Trafalgar Square.
Okay.
Yeah, because they did like a 3D effect and it looks like a hand's coming out, like actually reaching out of the screen.
Like the Jaws one on,
really well
on
done.
Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
No, I just have a look at it afterwards at some point. Yeah, it's just
Shame about the show, though.
shame about the show, but the advertisement was really good.
That's where all the money went.
Angry Kurt is Angry Kurt best boy this week? I can't remember if he's done anything to piss us off.
He's gone really overboard with his jokes this week
Yes.
on the Discord. Like, too
Give
far.
Ghostbusters a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dodgy
Okay.
ground.
He's just boy.
Okay, boy Angry Kurt.
Boy.
I remember being sat in the school library when the iPad was first revealed and literally laughing my
That
head
makes
off.
me feel old.
I thought the brand had gone to the head. Who would want to buy a massive iPhone you couldn't put in your pocket, is what I thought. Well, now I have to eat my words as I consider the iPad to be the best piece of technology I've ever owned. It's a staple of my everyday life. I use it so much for browsing the web, Discord, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and watching football. Loads of stuff. Over the various iterations, I'm on now my 3rd, and as soon as it dies, I'll buy a new one instantly. I know other tablets are available, but I love the UI, and I'm now fully in the Apple ecosystem with my phone too. The thing is, other tablets may exist, but they're shite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Android tablets are garbo.
I don't like the Apple interface. I find it boring as fuck, but I can't deny there is no better tablets than an iPad.
Yeah.
Nothing.
They've
Everything
even got
I've
like
tried,
exclusive games on the
every
iPad.
Samsung that I've not even owned many, but like my mum's got one and other people have got one. I've got
So
cheaper ones
shit.
for the girls. They all just go really sluggish and shit after a year.
Mm.
Them
the
Amazon
other-
Fire ones that
The
last
Amazon
about
Fire
a day.
ones are like full of adverts and
Yeah,
Nice.
it's
Like the
terrible.
hell.
I'm upgrading Amelia for Christmas because that thing is awful. But
This iPad 6 mini
I've got
is incredible.
I've got an iPad 2, and the only thing that's really pisses me off now is that with the way it's progressed, I can't download any new apps for it. It's just that your iPad is out, doesn't support this.
That's how they get
But-
you.
Flicking around and playing, you can play the games and that I had on it and browsing, still really fast.
Mm.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I like iPads. I think.
Yeah, I'm constantly impressed by mine, to be fair. And it's the only
Yeah, I'm
Apple
so
thing
not.
I have as well, out of necessity. It's just, there's nothing compared
Apart
to
from the
it.
actual fruit.
Yeah, no, I don't have any of them. It's been a while. Clearly.
Yeah, I'm saving up for an iPad. I'm going to get one next year at some point.
Mm.
Ray has said, for me, the Falcon 9 reusable rocket is the most exciting tech advancement of the last decade. He comes
good
in
shout.
hard, does Ray?
The hell is that?
That's it. What if you hold your horses here, Oodles? He's going to explain it for
It's
you.
scaring me.
Before it successfully landed after launch in 2015, space exploration was in a period of decline. National investments in the space program have been dwindling since the Cold War ended, and despite achievements like Mars rovers, publicity for space has been sidelined for a long time. By making rockets reusable, a feat still not achieved by any national space agencies, Falcon 9 proved private businesses can compete in and even try to win a new space race, while forcing the old players up to their games. As a result, we've already seen attention being brought back to Moon Base and Mars manned missions previously hindered by various reasons. If the last space race was truly as exciting as old people recalled, I'm happy to experience a second round, and maybe this wish will come true thanks to a returning rocket. So, Oodles, the Falcon 9 rocket is, I believe it's SpaceX's rocket, and the
it
idea is that to commercialize space travel and to make it viable for people to go and visit space, the booster can be landed. So
How?
if
Like a shuttle.
no. Okay, so if you think of like the old Saturn V rocket, what sent people to the moon, right?
Yeah, the big fat one.
Yeah, three sections of rocket. 2 of them would be ejected and just burn up in the atmosphere. What the Falcon 9 does is it's got clever robots and gizmos in it. It basically launches up, and when that first booster is ejected, it parachutes back down to Earth and lands precisely on a boat.
Whoa!
And if you watch videos of it, there's loads of videos of it on YouTube from like the various launches. It's incredible how precise the landing is. Like,
does it look like they've just reversed the video?
Yeah,
It doesn't look real. It looks like animation.
Yeah, and it's like it's like the boat that they have it in has obviously got a big target on the deck where it lands. Even in rough seas, it lands with precision in the middle of that target.
That's got to save millions.
No, billions.
Yeah, that's because that's. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to have a new.
Every time you want to launch a new satellite, you don't have to build a whole new fucking rocket.
It's probably a trick. It's just on a long piece of string.
Maybe.
It would be nice to have a new space race without a looming of nuclear war on top of us. That would be nice.
Yeah, now we've just got billionaires and cock-shaped rockets.
Yeah.
I do look.
Well, we all know they're not actually humans. So
I do love.
They're
these
just going
emails
back home.
They're always informative, aren't they?
Yeah. Last up, we have Bobby Wayne.
He doesn't know anything about
These won't be
technology.
informative.
I'm going with the humble mobile phone for this.
Oh, he's copied me.
It's amazing how far tech has come over the last decade, and nowadays the device in your pocket has more computing power than the lunar lander. And that is just to reiterate the vehicle that landed the astronauts on the fucking moon. I mean, to be fair, Casio watches had more computing power than the lunar lander.
Yeah, it was all. It wasn't even digital, was it? It was analog.
Yeah. We've gone from solid Nokia brick with call and text functions to iPhones and Samsungs that house high-def cameras, high-def screens, internet access, Bluetooth connectivity, and then there's the apps you can download. You can send emails, catch up with friends on social media, send photos you've taken on your phone or downloaded online, use it as a sat-nav, calculator, hell, even a translator. Use it as a gaming device, and then there's the endless porn access.
And Tinder.
Back in my day, if I wanted to know Back in my day, if I wanted to know what the AD in 2021 AD meant, I had to go to the library and find an encyclopedia, and then find another book to translate Latin. Now I can just scream, "Hey Siri," and ask her to work it out for me when she decides to work. It just means Anno Domini.
Anno Domini, yeah.
Most importantly, they've given us multiple ways to communicate without actually having to talk on the phone, because who the fuck wants to do that? P.S. The porn is also good.
It is. It's really good.
That's when phones started getting bigger again, wasn't it? Like they were getting smaller and smaller.
Everything
and then
does get bigger, yes, when you watch them.
And people realised they can watch porn. The screen started getting bigger again.
I like the fact that all the people that have talked about phones this week, no one has actually pointed out you can have a phone call.
Yeah,
No one uses
you can
it
do that
anymore.
as well. I haven't done that in
uses it
years.
for phone calls. Outside of business, the only people that ever call me on my phone are my sister and my mum. Like,
Yeah.
You'll not in the
everyone else I
industry.
just text.
That's right.
They go
WhatsApp
away
or
from
whatever.
the word phone. It's not now device. They call them devices because it's not just.
Honestly,
phone.
phone is the basic function, isn't it? Like, no one even
Yeah, they're always shit.
even like all the
quality.
contracts now. They're just unlimited text, unlimited minutes,
unlimited minutes.
because
Yeah.
no one.
The negligible
Everyone
cost.
just wants the data, not the
Poor dead BT.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of the mailbag.
Wow. So let's get onto the socials, but before that, Stig.
Google. Can't explain to anyone over, just Stig.
Yeah, so you can. Stig's going to actually tell us about next week's topic because it's a special one, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you have been paying attention for the last few weeks, we've decided to let the Patreons pick our main topic. So we had a few suggestions sent in, and we've picked some of the favourites here. I'm just going to go through these 5 here, and then we're going to decide now between us which one we're going to do.
Live.
Going forward as well, I think we like the idea of Patreon selections. So every now and again, we'll just choose one of your topics. So if you have something that you want us to do, just send it in. We'll keep it on the form, and then every now and again, we'll choose one.
Become an executive producer.
Indeed.
Unless they're shit, and then we'll just point and laugh at them.
Yeah.
We'll just not use them.
They'll go in the bin. So,
In the pod bin.
first up, we have John Cheatham. He says, how about film directors and their muses? Fruitful author and actor partnerships over the years, like Scorsese and De Niro, Coen Brothers and McDormand, Bong Joon-ho and Song Kang-ho, and Anderson and Swinton, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Second,
Next.
we have Bobby Wayne. Best vehicles. Which vehicles from the Tron bikes to the USS Enterprise do you like the most? What makes them special, and why do you hold a particular place in your heart? Super Natty Cat comes in, and just as well, she used our form on the website as well.
Oh,
congratulations.
She
She listens.
She started it with, I found the email in massive letters. So a topic she'd love us to cover is, if you could be a hero or villain in a film, book, TV show, game for one day, what would you choose and why? And to clarify, not because he can fly or because he's mint. No cop-out bullshit. Rules
Because he's mint. Mint man.
Rules are you have to accept all the powers,
After eight
attributes, and environments the character is in, unless, of course, you would want to be that character so you could change their story path for the better.
Okay.
Then we have Angry Kurt, and he comes in with a kind of like last week's episode, but in reverse. So rather than something in a genre that you don't like that you liked, is there something from a genre you love but you just couldn't get on board with, even though everyone else was saying it was brilliant for whatever reason for you, it didn't click, even though you tend to like those genres?
Ooh.
It's like Candy's Dune.
Yeah, literally.
And then last up, we have Deadbeat Punk, and he would like to know what we wanted to be when we grew up. So,
That's good.
yeah, he says, I'm interested to hear what you wanted to be when you were kids. I myself fancied myself as an adventurer, sailing the seas, exploring lost jungles, and finding mythical treasures across the globe.
Pirate. He wanted to be a pirate.
Yeah, of course he did. So yeah, those are our 5.
Dread Pirate Punk.
And you can find him on Pirate Bay now.
He runs Pirate Bay. 2 of them stood out for me. I'll just dive right in. The Heroes one, and the what did you want to be when you grow up? They're 2 knockout ones for me. They're the what we want to do when we grow up. It's good for people to get to know us a little bit more, to understand why we are how we are, especially me. The hero one, I can get down and nerdy on that one.
Yeah.
I like the vehicles one and the heroes one.
Ooh, 2 for heroes by the sounds of things.
Or villain. You could be
or villain.
But you have to accept those villainous properties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the vehicle and the grown-up one.
Oh, two for each of those.
I like the growing up one and the hero one.
Oh, 3. So it's down to Stig. out of the growing up and the hero one, it's down to you, mate.
See, I want to do all of these at some point. So
We will. But who gets to be the first executive producer that we've ever had?
So basically, whatever I choose.
Yes.
So we've got 3 for heroes, 3 for what you want to be, and 2 for vehicles. I will choose. If you could be a hero or a villain for day, who would you be and why?
There we go.
Super Natty Cat.
There we go.
Good choice.
The queen of sanitation and sanitary. She has become the first executive producer that we've ever had. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one.
So
and that is forever her nickname now. Queen of sanitary towels.
The sanitary queen.
So yeah, we will do that one next week. So as usual, get your feedback in for that one, and we'll get onto the rest of them as well because they're really great ideas. And
I want to do them all.
If you are a patron as well and you didn't submit anything this time round, just submit it to us, and we'll add it to the list, and eventually we'll get round to doing it because there's 5 great suggestions there that we haven't even thought of ourselves.
And they said we'd never run out of topics, but we'd rather you guys give them us.
Yeah, do our job for us.
Doesn't mean we've run out of topics. We're just being
we
lazy.
haven't. Trust me.
No, we haven't. We've got fuck ton in that feature.
Too many. They're all really good. But yeah, that's excellent. Brilliant. So, socials.
You can visit. Sorry.
You can be.
I'd left the room then. I'll start that again. Sorry about that.
That's your superpower.
I forgot that was my bit. You can visit our website, modernescapism.co.uk. On there, you'll find a link to all of our socials, contact details, and our merch store. If you have any comments or feedback, or if you want to be called like Sanitation Natty Cat. You can fill out a form on our website, tweet us, or email us on modernescapismpod@gmail.com. We also have a Discord server if you'd like to join our community of listeners for a chat about the podcast and many other aspects of pop culture and escapism. If you enjoy Twitch and want to keep us company whilst playing some games, you can find us on twitch.tv/modernescapism, and we should be back to our regular schedule fairly soon, I think, and hopefully we'll have a couple of streams over the holiday period too. We've already told you about our Patreon, so if you're feeling generous and want to give us a bit of extra support so we can continue to bring you new content, please consider subscribing on patreon.com/modernescapism. We really do appreciate any contributions. And if you want to support us in a non-financial way, leaving us a 5-star review wherever you can really make a difference to us as well.
Oh, yes, excellent. And for all the patrons, we'll meet you around the back in a few seconds. But for everyone else, thank you for tuning in. And we will see you next time. Good night. Motherfuckers. I need to find a plug. Ow!
Can you see if my D20's down there as well?
Yeah, I'll have a look for you.
Cheers, bud.